Yes, I'm live. Am I live here? Can you hear me? All right. I'm doing a live stream right now. This is the recap. We are just right now trying to get everybody in here, the three of us, ready to go. Talk about some Ryzen. So bear with us for just a minute, and we will. You bear with us for just a minute. We should be able to be set up and. What's your email, bro? All right. He sends me his email, and I think we'll be ready to go. Yo.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm so dumb. I think I have no. Dude, I'm in like a completely different format now. Now it says I have a hangout invite with you, and then somebody, and then here I'm about to type you his email because I'm like sitting here trying to like it won't let me copy it from my my phone app because my phone sucks and it's kind of weird. Let's see. Do we have a? Let's see. Accept. All right, so it's J Christian. I kept trying to like combine yours and his email. Like I kept like putting 92 at the end of his because I kept thinking about yours, and I was like, wait, that's not right. And so I kept having to go back and look at it. Here's his. I just sent it.
Okay. Wait, what'd you send it on?
The chat that just popped up on the chat through here, like the Google Hangout chat. You see it?
No.
Okay.
I didn't. I didn't. Yeah. We sent it
send
in the Twitter.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's weird. Like this, the first time it didn't pop up where we had a screen where we could message. I had one with JC, but then now it has one for you. I don't know. It's weird. Twitter. Let's see. Did anybody get soccer kick tonight? Because I've totally missed any of that good stuff.
No, there was only like one attempt.
God, I just wish that was legal in MMA. I just sent it through Twitter. I wish I still wish soccer kicks and knees to actually maybe not knees in the north-south position just because like wrestlers like even if you sprawl on their takedowns you would still get some tremendous damage, but I just feel like if you can flying knee somebody and get as high as like Edson Barbosa did on Dariush that one time, I feel like that is so much more dangerous than a knee like a Kevin Randleman. Well, actually, maybe Kevin Randleman was the exception because he used to get some power behind those knees.
Yo, Randleman is one of my favorite fighters of all time. Well, he was one of the reasons that when I was wrestling in middle school and partially in high school that I wanted to wrestle. Like him and Kurt Angle were like big inspirations on
Oh
me.
yeah, Kurt Angle's a bad motherfucker too.
Man, I
Did
wish
you?
we would have been able to see him do MMA, man. That would have been awesome
Yeah,
before his
and
injuries. He would
he
have
waited
fucked
too
people
long.
up.
I think even if he tried to fight someone like Ken Shamrock now, I just wouldn't be in the business of wanting to see that because I don't want to see people like that get hurt. You know.
Well, he couldn't pass Angle
Oh, he
couldn't pass
wanted
a medical.
couldn't pass the medical. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Wow. Could you
He can't move
imagine?
his neck. It's like he's
Hey,
had so many surgeries that he can't move his neck side to side anymore.
as a pro wrestling fan, what did you think about that Hoist Gracie Ken Shamrock? Or no, I'm sorry, the Kimbo Slice Frank Shamrock fight. You think that shit was fixed?
The Ken Shamrock and
When, when,
now
when, when he took him down immediately off the ugliest single leg, and then he just like eventually Kimbo almost choked him out, and then he got up. He got out of this. Kimbo literally just let go of the choke, and he gets up and he just gets knocked out with one punch. That shit looks so fake to me, dude. But I don't know. You're a pro wrestling fan, so you probably would know better than me.
Did you type his email right?
I got
Christian
jchristiang@gmail.com is what he sent me.
All right, I've been invited him, but I invited him, but I don't see him.
Okay. Let me make sure. I'm messaging him here.
All right.
So I can make sure I got it. Oh wait, I can just copy and paste it. My actual computer like just broke within like the past month, so my mom let me borrow her computer that like she's had for like 10 years. 10 years an exaggeration, but I used it when I was in high school to write papers, and I'm 23 now. So if that tells you anything,
yeah.
So I'm really lucky that like this thing even actually still works. It's like if it's not plugged into the charger, it immediately dies. Like it's so janky. Okay, this is your email, right? You said you invited him, right?
I did.
Because honestly, I'm gonna try to invite him too. I can't believe I'm so dumb that I didn't realize that we had two open windows, and that's why he couldn't hear you.
It's pretty funny.
Honestly, I'm surprised the mic didn't pick it up though. That's kind of weird. You would think it would, right? Or I mean, I'm not a big computer person. I really just started doing this stuff within the past like 2 years when I started doing my podcast. But I know I've got a lot of friends that are like making beats and stuff, and they know all this like intricate stuff about computers. And I'm like, dude, I'm lucky I can even do this shit by myself, really.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. It comes with some experience. I've been doing it for years, and I got out of it for a
How
while,
old are you?
so I'm getting back in. I'm 30. I turned 30 back in May.
Word, yeah, I just turned 23 in April, but
Nice.
I'm going to school for exercise science, but I had that fucking halfway through college crisis where I decided where I wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do, but there were like some kind of mess ups along the way. Like I didn't do so hot when I was 18, like right when I got out of high school because I just like being on my own for the first time, and then just like after that like just didn't move back in with my parents and continued to fuck off for a couple years. But then I got back in school and just got straight A's, and then I was doing so well, and I was like, oh shit, is this really what I want to do with the rest of my life? Because then I got to go to like 3 years of physical therapy school. So now I'm thinking about doing journalism because I got a couple friends that have done it at Memphis who could really like give me the connection, and we have a really good journalism department. And also like with this MMA stuff, like I'd rather make a small amount of money doing something that I enjoy than making a lot of money doing something that I hate,
No, absolutely. I have the same thing. I've dropped out of college 3 times, so at this point, I'm just trying to
Yeah, see, I've dropped out
get my
twice, but it wasn't really like a
potential.
dropout. It was like I'm gonna take a semester off, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I may never go back, because I'm actually like on one of those hiatuses right now. But the one thing I can say that I am like almost proud of myself for, even though I fucked up and wasted so much money. Everything I've done, I've paid for out of pocket just from working like since I was in high school and shit.
That's actually really dope, dude. That's
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Yeah, a lot of my friends, like my buddy just graduated in 4 years with electrical, or technically 5 years because he did a year internship at FedEx here in Memphis, but he got a mechanical engineering degree, like top of his class, and he like just bought this new car and all this shit, and he like wanted to get like a house, move in and get a house because I live in like a 1-bedroom right now, and he was like, let's see, he was oh wait, hold on, let's see if it's working right now. Hey, you should see if there's a way to like link these two because I don't know.
What are you doing? Are you calling him?
I'm trying. Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna hang up on him because I see the add people thing.
Yep, top the invite.
Yeah. Add people.
Did you read through that?
Oh shit, yeah. I'm doing it now. I think I just figured out to where we're gonna get him in here. Oh, he's now he's in the chat. So he's in the chat now. How do we invite him to the video? Or is he in the video? I can't see. I'm not looking at the screen.
He's not in the video, but he should.
Yes.
But I sent him the invite the exact same way that I sent you the invite, so it should pop him in as long as he has his camera set up or his microphone on.
Well, he actually might have stepped away from the computer. Oh, he's back on now. I think he stepped away from the computer for a second. Oh yeah, there he is. He's typing. Here, you talk to him. I'm gonna read this so I can try to set up the YouTube thing. Because I think since you started the call, you're probably the one that's gonna have to invite him to the video thing. People who join this group can see all previous messages. That sounds about right. So what is the link? What is the link that they're saying like the hangouts.google.com? What is that link for? Is that like if I send it to somebody, I'm like, hey, I want you to join this or something? Because I thought that would be like, hey, I want you to watch this. Or do I use that link for YouTube? Is that what this is about to tell me?
No, so you go to YouTube and you want to go to start a live event, like on your create it, and then
wait, where is that? I've never done that. I'm on my homepage right now, so I got.
I just clicked the link that was in the tutorial.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sweet, we got JC now.
Oh, he's got video.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, and we can see. Okay, sweet. I'm so dumb. Check it out. I had two windows open. You on one window and then one on the other window. And so for some reason, I guess the mic just wasn't picking up his audio because there was two windows. I guess we're good now.
Hey, JC, do you have headphones?
No, actually, my headphones are sitting around my computer desk.
Yeah,
I can hear y'all clear.
Because we can hear ourselves in the feedback.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Because I got this microphone. I don't have any headphones. Well, actually, I might. Let me go grab them.
Unless, or is it just that somebody's speakers up? Maybe JC's speakers are up loud?
Well, my speaker's only halfway up.
But I think your mic is picking them up.
So y'all need me to wear headphones or something?
Either that or turn the volume down a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Because everything we
quick.
say, we hear coming out of your speakers.
Really loud. Like when you had your volume turned down before, it was better, but it was still kind of distracting. All right, so let's see. Did you send me that link to Twitter, right?
Yes.
With the YouTube thing? Okay.
Yeah. You go like you're gonna do a video, and I guess there's like a live event tab. I just clicked the link that was in the tutorial.
Oh yeah, it's go to live event streaming. I see. Yeah, because I actually I wonder if this do you know if this renders my mic useless once I plug the headphones in?
Try it.
I mean, can you hear me with decent sound?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay, cool. Okay, live events. So I got to schedule a new live event, I imagine. Select quick, Google Hangouts. Give your live stream a title. Okay, so what is it? What was this called? Ryzen? Was there a number to it?
I just put Ryzen 2017 recap.
I'll put the date of it too. So technically it was, I guess, 10/15/2017. Ryzen 10/15/2017 recap.
Yes.
Ryzen 10 7. Oh shit.
Hey, I couldn't hear y'all through the. I mean, y'all probably couldn't hear me because I had my headphones on.
Uh-huh.
But why don't y'all call it Ryzen Aki Nojin recap?
Yeah, that would make
Is-
sense.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Are you saying? I'm kind of hearing myself again. Did you take your headphones out?
Yeah, because y'all probably couldn't hear me with the headphones on.
That's
No,
weird.
it is weird. Does your mic not pick up with your headphones?
No, it isn't. Plus, I'm doing this off my cell phone, so
Oh
that's
wow! I didn't
probably
even.
why.
That's probably why. Yeah. Okay. Do you know any way to fix that?
Don't.
Because I don't. I mean, the only thing I can think of is turn your volume down to like as low as where you can just barely you can hear us, but like not too much more past that. You know. That's
I've
the
got my
only thing I
volume
can
down.
think of. Yeah, like that's better. But yeah, it's still kind of distracting. It's a
Yeah,
little
but
delayed too though, because so that at least helps with like the timing of us like not talking over each other.
right, like basically trying to hear one person when you want to hear the other. Correct?
Right. Yeah, it gives you like at least like a second in between, so you know like when someone's ready to talk or done talking or done with their point at least.
Right, right.
Okay, I'm just getting this set up for the Twitter live stream, making sure everyone has their Twitter handles so they can get credit for it. Let's see.
Holy shit, you really are
Framus.
trying to be next level, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Man, I'm trying, dude. I was telling him I got a janky ass computer, but I mean, when you find something that you're passionate about, if you're not gonna like go all out with it, then why not even do it? You know, that's the way I look at it. I spent a lot of my life like BSing and not really knowing what I wanted to do in life, and you know, when I finally found something that I was interested in, I was like, I'm gonna take it all the way with it, or at least as far as I can take it. You know.
Are you leaving?
Oh shit!
Okay.
Damn it.
Yeah. We're. Huh?
Are you talking to like a lady friend or something?
Oh yeah, my girlfriend just walked downstairs.
Okay, cool. I was like,
She's
I was like,
actually getting
we
ready.
have a crazy one in the pack
No, she's getting ready to
because
go
I'm
to.
pretty crazy myself.
She's getting ready to go to work.
I've had many nights like that.
Well, it's Sunday. Pretty sure
Let's
she has
see.
to get her money too.
We all do. I think we all do. Okay, Fraymous. What's your JC? What's your Twitter handle? Oh, it's in my messages. I accidentally closed my It's just Chris Gray 92.
Chris Gary 92.
Oh, that's what it is. My bad. Little dyslexic here.
J Christian.
I understand. I'm a little fucked up in the
Let's see.
head too
Framus,
myself.
Chris, Gary, and I
Mikey
recap a sensational night of fights, night/morning of fights. Live from. Does anybody know where in Japan this was?
This was. It wasn't at the arena.
Was it the Saitama? It wasn't at the Saitama.
No. That there wasn't enough people for that.
I'm just gonna say Japan. Yeah, it was. There wasn't a lot of big names on the card. And I recap a sensational night, morning of fights live from Japan. Here we give our initial reaction to the fights and break down some of the key moments of the evening, or moments of the card. Does that sound right? Let's see. Fraymous, Chris Gary, 92, and I recap a sensational night / morning of fights live from Japan. Here we give our initial reaction to the fights and break down some of the key moments in the card. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, that sounds all right.
All right. Tags. I can go back and add those later. Okay.
But
And then what's the next step?
You guys don't know where the event was taking place at?
It was somewhere in Japan, but not in the big arena.
I can't say it. It was
Well,
it was something like
Fukuoka. Fukuoka. That's where
So
the event was taking place
Fukuoka.
at.
That's how you say it.
F. Spell that for me one more time.
FU. Yeah, go ahead.
Fukuoka.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on MMA.
Okay, I think I missed a letter because like it was a little delayed. Somebody talking, but I got Fukuoka.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you pronounce that? Fukuoka. Fukuoka. Ah, I see that. Okay, I got you. I'm really good at grammar, but sometimes the pronunciation of words catch me. All right,
If you wanna think crazy, just think "fuck you" without the
That's so perfect. You can use that when we go live too. Okay, using Google Hangouts on our. Okay, so let's select quick. Is it in advanced settings?
No, it's down at the bottom. If you look, it's at the very bottom, right before you hit go. So it's already selected.
So I should do I just hit go live now?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready to go. You will now enter Google Hangout on air so you can stream live from your webcam. If you meant to schedule your event for live later, please click cancel. So we're going okay. Is this gonna tweet it? Is this gonna tweet it too, or do I need to tweet it myself?
It tweeted.
Oh, I
tweeted
the YouTube link.
Yeah.
Is it going? Yeah, I think we're going. I wonder. I'll check YouTube and see if it, or I'll check Twitter and see if it automatically tweets it or anything.
I know mine's going.
Yeah, I don't. I see you, Fraymous. Let's see. Because I wonder if I click if I do what I did last time and copy and paste the link, if it'll just take it to like what we had originally. Okay, let's see. So this thing doesn't tell us how many live viewers we have, does it?
Nope.
Yeah, down at the bottom it says we've got.
Oh, it probably will for me. Let's see. Twitter. Tweet. Bada bing. Bada boom. Let's see if this bad boy works.
Hey, do y'all think I look a little too dark right now?
Kind of, but a lot of people actually like don't even do it with a camera, so like you don't even need to worry about it. As long turn the volume up just a tad bit so we can hear you a little bit better. Besides that, you should be straight.
Okay, because I probably might need to turn the light on a little bit so I can actually look good for video.
Yeah, if you want to, you can most certainly do that.
Okay.
Damn.
Let me go ahead.
Okay, so the link that I tweeted is just for like for us, all the three of us to get in here. So we need to figure out how to where I can tweet it from YouTube. So I'm gonna click on it from YouTube and see if I got anything. Oh yeah, okay. It says it hasn't started yet though.
Like, how much time is it getting?
Here, hey, Fraymous, I'm gonna text you I'm gonna message you the YouTube link, and you see.
You just want to share the YouTube. You just want to share the YouTube link that I have going for my channel.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Oh, because you do Twitch stuff, right?
Yeah, and I'm here. You go.
I'll cancel. I'll cancel mine then.
JC, what's your Twitter again?
My Twitter is at ChrisGary92.
There we go.
Sorry for the yawn, guys. It has been a long night for me watching this.
You're good, man. I appreciate you hanging in there with us.
Hey, I'm just happy that I'm even getting the chance to stay up this long.
And I always enjoy some good quality MMA banter as well. Hey, could you turn your volume up just a tad bit more? Because I can still kind of hear myself, but I'd rather be able to hear myself just a little bit and hear you good than not hear you at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can't figure out how to delete the stream, but I feel like you might also be able to just jack the Hangouts and onto your channel.
All right. If you go to my last tweet,
Yeah.
it's
Is the one you just tagged me in?
Yeah, that is the link to the YouTube video I have going with us.
It literally just says join us live on YouTube, but there's no website link.
Okay, that's weird. That's why I put it in there.
Did you like click it from YouTube, or did you copy and paste it and just like forget to copy and paste it? Because I do that all the time.
Exactly what I did. I forgot to copy and paste.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
I got it now.
Wait, I haven't even looked at the screen in like 20 minutes. I can't even see if I can still see you guys. Oh yeah, you're looking good out there with some light, dog. Last time I saw you, I could barely even see your ass.
There we go.
What did your shirt say?
Federation.
Oh damn, I can't hear you at all, JC.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're on your phone. I think the further away that you get,
further away that I get,
that's what it is. Okay, yeah, that's perfect, right? That's perfect right there. Okay, now I got it.
Face, the harder it is for y'all to hear me, I guess.
Yeah. Because you was like chilling out here, and I couldn't hear what you said, but then you got up a little closer. But I mean, I'm sure after we start talking enough, you'll find the sweet spot of where to hold it.
All right,
I
so
probably might need to sit up.
There we go.
Hey, so it's going right now, isn't it?
Yep, we're going.
Okay, sweet. Well, it's your channel. Go ahead and introduce it.
Oh shit! I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, welcome to the. We're here doing the Ryzen 2017 World Grand Prix recap. Round 1 was tonight. Fraymous. We have. What do you want to be introduced as, JC?
You can call me by my Twitter handle at ChrisGary92.
All right, at ChrisGary92, at MikeyTMMA, and at Fraymous. Welcome guys to the channel and the recap.
Please, I just want to interject real quick. Excuse us all. It's been a long night. We all pulled our all-nighters to see this. So if we start slurring our words, I promise it's not brain damage like Mark Hunt. We're just a little tired, but we're just trying to break it down. It was a great night of fights from what I saw. I only called about the last half. I'd say half of the card, but I think you guys probably caught more than I did. And I saw some really exciting gifts, so I know there was a lot of action tonight.
Yeah, for me, I basically fell asleep a little bit before the fight card began and decided to catch all 16 fights because I pre-ordered the fight card on the Fight TV app.
Right. Oh, how did that experience go for you? Because I've never used Fight TV yet before.
Well, the experience for me, the experience for me was hard at first because I was trying my best to pre-order it, but to, when it came down to it, it's for me to just pre-order it and then watch it automatically
Right.
as the event started. So I had no worries when it came down to that afterwards.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I ordered it through Fight TV app and just streamed it to my Chromecast in my living room, and it
Oh,
worked
I
great.
saw that was an option. Yeah.
Yeah, that worked great for me. I actually had some credits on my Fight TV app from doing like linking my Facebook and just signing up. They'll give you free credits. I had like $21 and it came out to be 20 credits, so it worked out perfectly.
Right. Yeah. I actually was. I tweeted. I was like looking for a stream because I actually had some fraudulent charges on my card right after I got my paycheck the other day. Unfortunately, so I was like not thinking I wasn't gonna get to watch it. I was like on on YouTube, like looking or on a Periscope, looking for like a stream or something crazy. And then someone was like, "Yeah, you can watch it for free if you find somebody that has like a valid coupon code, I guess for signing up or like you said."
Yeah.
And so I tried and I tried and I tried and it wasn't working because I guess you could only use the codes once or something, and people were posting them on Twitter and just taking them like that. And then somebody, I'm not sure who it was, but somebody finally gave me a code that worked, so I was able to tune in about halfway through. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So like, have you guys you watched fights on there before?
Yeah, I use it regularly.
Interesting. And it's all, as I noticed, it's like MMA, boxing, and like all combat sports, really.
Yeah, pro wrestling. There's a bunch of Muay Thai fights on there, kickboxing. Pretty good.
Sweet. I'll have to check it out. Definitely.
For me, I've been watching Fight TV more recently because, as y'all probably know, Ryzen been putting all their events up there from Eversport TV, its provider, which had free
Yeah.
events. But they've been putting all their events up on Fight TV since April, and more recently, my hometown wrestling promotion, the Reality of Wrestling, have been putting their episodes on there as well. Their episodes on the Fight TV app after being on local television here in Houston for about 3 years.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah,
I started
I'm
watching
probably
reality recently myself.
yeah. So I'm basically starting to get more used to the Fight TV app as the days and months spread around.
No, I'm a big fan of the Fight TV. Yeah, like I said, I started watching reality wrestling recently. I watch some Ring of Honor on there as well.
And it's crazy to me, and I hate to get everybody sidetracked and stuff, but it's crazy to me that you got promotions like a Ring of Honor or Reality at Wrestling or even the Rising Fighting Federation joining all these big major fight promotions and combat promotions from all over the globe under this one family, you know? So when it comes down to the Fight TV app, I hope that they can get more and more people not only to love combat sports, but to find new ways to watch combat sports.
I agree. I'm a big fan of jiu-jitsu myself, and with flow grappling, I know it's kind of expensive, but some of the stuff they're putting on there, the quality, like stuff that you would never get to see otherwise, like ADCC just came up recently. There was some like really incredible performance. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like the no-gi grapplers, like Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonin. Dylan Dennis was the guy who trained with Conor McGregor for the Nate Diaz fight. It was a great fight.
Ridiculous.
Gary Tonin is the man, but if you watched it, the toughest match he had, besides the one he lost in open weight, which was crazy that he even was able to compete with that guy. Was it Buchecha? I can't remember. He won against everybody at his weight class, but the first fight of the competition for him was against Dennis, and Dennis gave him his hardest test.
Yeah,
And,
Dennis is no slouch.
Dennis is like that guy that is so good, loses all of the big matches.
Yep.
And it sucks because he's Conor's guy, so it's like, and Conor's all about winning, and he's just like, he's so close to being what Conor. He wants to be Conor so bad, but it just doesn't work for him. It sucks.
I think he's just out there
And
trolling people, man. I don't even think he's trying to be
Sure.
hot. They're just out there having fun together.
I would like to see what he has to offer in MMA, because if he doesn't learn how to strike, he's going to get humbled really quickly if he hasn't already been humbled in jiu-jitsu from all these losses he's taken recently.
yeah, it's crazy to me to think that Bellator even signed his ass. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
like,
not
what are they
surprised
gonna
though.
do with him?
I don't know.
I mean,
Coker's
like, what are
really
they gonna do
good.
with him? Put him in
Uh,
showcase fights or something?
Probably. I
Put
mean,
him against a
Coker's
bunch of
really good at building
nobodies. Put him
talent.
against a bunch of nobodies.
If you look what Coker did with like Strike Force and stuff, I mean, he's got a really good eye for how to build talent up slowly and properly. Did a pretty good job there, and they're probably going to push him some sort of path similar to what they're doing with Aaron Pico.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and actually, that's actually a very good point you make. And I really think that they obviously they messed up by giving him that Zach Freeman cat to for his first fight, because I think he is more like a guy who could potentially like be a staple mate in Bellator, like a guy who hangs around as like a contender, like a what's his name, David Rickles, like that type of fighter, just super scrappy, super tough. I mean, the kid was 9-2, and I'm not saying that the guy that Pico beat, his record was that much worse. I think he was 7-2 or something like that, but it was like the skill level was a little bit different. When you have a guy like Pico who's been boxing and wrestling since he was a child, like you can't just like compare that to a tough guy who just wants to come in there and try to like prove a point because he's a tough guy. Like Pico is a legit prospect, and I'm hoping that they don't just throw him right back to the wolf's den like they did the first fight.
Yeah, like Freeman was just, in my opinion as well, was just too big of a first fight for him. Freeman
Yeah,
is
but nobody
Yeah.
knew it because
experienced,
nobody
the
knew who he
level.
was.
Yeah, but in my opinion, I think it's probably because of the fact that you had a guy in Aaron Pico who was basically being touted as Bellator's golden child, and they basically put him up on a big stage like Madison Square Garden and gave him an opponent everybody thought that he would breeze through in Zach Freeman. But lo and behold, we would know in those 24 seconds that wasn't the case.
Not at all.
And I think that the only way Bellator can redeem that now, like how they did with his most recent victory, is if they keep giving him quality fights that we know that he can match up with. Just like the
Yeah, see,
recent win that
I
he
actually,
had.
I might have to disagree with you on that. I think that finish that he had was so impressive that if he racks up 4 or 5 of those, kind of like a Michael Venom Page, I think it'll do a lot more for his career, especially since he started off 0-0. At least like MVP had like 4 or 5 fights starting in, but when they were giving MVP these pies just to let him get highlight reel knockouts over these nobodies, like it made the allure of him like fighting one of these top level guys so much more attractive. Like there's so many good guys for him to face at 45, and I think he's gonna stay at 55 now. But if they give him at least like just a couple of just tomato cans, just guys that he can go in there and throw that left hook of death and just knock him senseless like he did to the last guy, I think that will be a lot better for him than taking the risk of putting him back into these really, really dangerous fights super early with these bigger names, these guys that we expect to give him a hard fight. That allure, like I said, I don't know. You can disagree, or we can agree to disagree, but
So, I think Pico
Hmm.
needs to be built up slowly. I think they rushed him in just out of his like you're it's great, but being great at in the gym doesn't always translate to being great in the cage or the ring. And being great at another sport doesn't always translate. I mean, look, there's some high level wrestlers, extremely high level wrestlers that came over and just bombed. There's some great BJJ guys that just bombed. Um, it's just it doesn't always translate to MMA, and I think that's kind of what they need to like prevent and make sure that like Pico's not just like a top wrestler and not just like a great guy in the gym. I think they
right,
should build him up slow, but I don't think they should build him as slow as they did MVP, because the problem now is I feel like MVP's missed his window.
he did.
And
Yeah, but he's doing all that he can to regain that window back.
Yeah, he
Because
also
now
he's trying to do that boxing thing though. He's trying to. I don't know what
he's
that whole
still
thing's about. I
he's
think he's
still
scared
trying
of
to do
fighting
that.
these guys like Lima or Rory who actually can box. He's
they need
like,
to they need to make that a daily fight they never made.
Yeah, I think the reason why he's taking that boxing match because he knows that Daly's going to knock him senseless if he tries to go in there and fight him like he fought Fernando Gonzalez. Because Gonzalez is just like that boxer wrestler type, and he was like MVP couldn't put him out, and he was getting hit with some shots. That fight should not have been as close as it was, and I think I do agree with what you're saying. They should not do Pico as slowly as they're doing MVP because it's almost like a tease. It's like you're with a girl and you're like really vibing and you're kissing her and she's like, I'm gonna go home and like that kind of thing because it's like you're so close and then he's like, no, I'm just gonna like go do this boxing thing and say forget this, and then he's gonna miss, like you said, he's gonna miss his window.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Aaron Pico is an Olympic trained wrestler. I think he's still trying to, be a part of the wrestling team if there is any for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Oh man,
yeah, that'd be interesting.
I
don't know, that would be distracting.
That was, what is his knee that held him out initially? Then he blew.
I think so.
So guys,
I can't remember.
Talking about Bellator, but what about Rising tonight?
Yeah, let's talk about.
Please start it off because I didn't get to see much at the beginning.
I came in during the second fight. I missed the first one, and then so I saw half of the second kickboxing bout with Yuki and Kurogi, or whichever way came in, and then from there on out. But I really liked it. I like the hybrid style that they do. Reminds me of kind of the
with the kickboxing and the MMA.
Yeah, like the old Dynamite series that they would do. The Pride and K1 would do together. I enjoyed that.
Right,
and they were
not to go back to Bellator, but they tried to do it too. It did. I think Ryzen pulls it off a lot better than Bellator did because of the way that they present it.
Yeah, but if you think about it, when it comes down to the fact that they had kickboxing bouts on an MMA card, think about this. Think about for 1 second. You go to what am I trying to think of here? Let's just say you go to a food joint down in Texas. You trying to get something that's more specific to you, and you say, "Hey, I want some barbecue," and they would specifically give you some good barbecue. Or you go to St. Louis or something like that and get some barbecue.
Yeah, I'm from Memphis, so we know all about good barbecue out here.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes down to Japan, there's two things they love the most about that they created.
Yep.
And if you think about it, in Fukuoka, which is the place where this event was at, think of saying fuck you without the C. But in Fukuoka, they love their kickboxing. They love hungry young kickboxers striving to become great fighters. And when it comes down to this particular card, they're probably going to be more happier with having kickboxing bouts on the card as opposed to just having MMA and liking it. No, that's not going to draw asses and seats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I did tease a few people just a couple though, people on Twitter that were bashing it, but it's
bashing
weird.
Which element?
The fact that they had kickboxing. I know there was one journalist out there that was covering it that was just going in on it. This was equating it to high schoolers fighting in a club. And he was just making fun of a dog the whole time. But I mean, I only saw like one or two people going at it. Everybody else seemed to enjoy it.
I like it because of like the K1. Because of like the K1 era and like how big kickboxing was back then. I mean, they were selling out 100,000 seater. They were selling out the Saitama Superdome for K1 events back in the day. I mean, they have those Japanese people. They love their MMA and they love their kickboxing. I mean, if there's a market there, I say go for it. I mean, they were great fights. I mean, like I said, I didn't get to see everything, but I mean, some of them I don't know any of these guys, so I can't say I can't base their skill level. But there were some exciting finishes promos from what I saw. Like I'm sitting here going back on my Twitter, kind of just getting an idea of like what all happened because it's been a long night. But I mean, Jerome LeBanner got what did he got choked out?
He
Is that what
got
happened?
Yes, he got choked out by an armpit choke.
yes by
Yeah,
an
and he
armpit
literally like
choke, by a fat man choke.
it almost looked like his chest muscle or his man boob was like what was like pressing up against his carotid artery to make him like almost go out. Like he literally looked like he was about to go out. It's such a goofy looking choke. I haven't seen anyone do that like even in the gym.
Both LeBanner and Sauer both completely just went
Oh,
opposite way of their
God.
game plan, and
Do not
like,
even talk to me about Andy Sauer. I
and
was
Andy
so excited
Sauer
for
said
that
that he
fight.
was going to go for a sub tonight, and then just
It
forgot
was
how to pull off
there.
the
It was
sub.
literally there. The sub was there for the taking. And I was so amazed that he was able to fight out of that and get into the position where he was on the back and he was like kind of throwing some ground and pound. And then he was throwing like shots. He had like full back control. He was kind of like throwing weird shots. And the neck was just like completely up. He could have snatched that thing up if he had really tried. But it looks like he doesn't really have the knowledge to grab the neck like that, I guess, is all it is.
No, it looks like he was just. It seems like he talks about he's been training in more like jujitsu more in the gym, so still kind of see that he's getting the basics down, starting to get the technique. He just has to
He has an
work it out
idea.
some. He has an idea of it. He just has to make it work now.
I think what was this? Only his fourth
but
MMA fight.
If you think about it, Andy Sauer's been training with the folks down at Nova União in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, with
I didn't know that.
Jose Aldo and those people. So maybe he's been trying to work on his jiu-jitsu, but
Possibly.
if he tried, he sure didn't show it with this fight against Ricky DiCiolo.
No, he did not. Like, and it was weird. He was throwing shots from the body triangle, but he was like sitting in side control with the body triangle.
Yeah,
it was something I don't think I've ever seen.
It was just it was an awkward way to look at it. And there was two things that I saw on Twitter that I was kind of shocked to see. One was this. I know obviously how dominant he was in kickboxing, but is he only 2-2 in his or now he's 2-3 in his MMA career?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's only had 5 MMA fights. That's crazy. And then something like that. I might have to check. Make
that's not as rare as it seems either. As odd as it seems. What's his name?
Joe Schilling?
No, Saki. Was it Saki?
Gokhan Saki. Yeah, he was
Gokhan Saki just won in the UFC like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, against Henrik de Silva.
And that was his second MMA fight, and it was 13 years apart.
Yeah, and he was 0-1. Yeah, and he basically how they came together.
1-1, 13 years apart from each other.
He hadn't even fought. I think he was in Glory before he signed with the UFC, and he hadn't fought in like a year. And I think his manager called him and was like, "Hey, how would you feel about fighting in the UFC?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it for the money or whatever." And then he came in there, and Silva was like, "I'm going to stand and bang with him," and we saw how that works for him.
Well, they just announced that he's going to be fighting Khalil Roundtree next.
It's a great fight.
And Khalil is a kickboxer that came over, so they're just going to stand in front of each other.
Yeah, and honestly, but if Khalil's smart, he'll try to take him to the ground, though, because I still don't. I think that Gokhan's level of striking is a little bit too high for that. I don't know. I'm really high on Saki, but if you can take him past like the first or second round, I don't think you can make it because those 5-minute rounds compared to the 3-minute rounds he used to in kickboxing seemed like they were really wearing on him. He seemed like he started breathing really heavy.
He took some heavy shots though too.
Yeah, and Silva, once he started pushing him up against the cage and landed those couple of knees right before he got countered and dropped, I really thought Saki was about to go out, and that would have been a huge statement. Yeah, we keep getting distracted from the actual Rising card.
I'll tell you another thing that I found interesting about the Rising card is that I don't know if you caught my tweet on it. The Yamamoto's that fought tonight, the mother and son duo.
Explain that to me.
Both of them lost.
This is the second time though. Back in December, both of them fought on the Rising card, and they both lost on the same card.
I totally missed that. I didn't catch that. So his mother fought before him?
Yes. So Mayu Yamamoto is.
Are they related to Kid?
Yes, they are. Kid is Mayu's brother. So that Kid is Kid's sister.
Mayu's the mother.
Kid Yamamoto's sister and his nephew fought tonight, and they
Wow.
both lost, but they both
They
fought
get
on a
they get
rising.
finished.
Yes,
Yes,
Oof,
they both got finished. Both Miyu and Urson got finished.
yes,
that's
and then they both also got finished on the same card back in December.
Oh, I didn't even. I watched that one, but I didn't put two and two together. There. Oh, that's. Oh, that hurts so bad.
Yeah.
That's why, that right there is the reason why you'll never see Nick and Nate fight on the same card ever. Not saying that they would ever get finished, but like if they were both to lose, like could you imagine how much marijuana would be and took that night?
Oh man,
Oh
they're gonna
man.
take it, and if they win, what was
Yeah,
it?
true that.
Nick
True
said
that.
that one of my favorite things. I don't know why it's my favorite, but glorified. I don't care. That Nick says that he was taking bong rips backstage before the Gomi fight.
And when he hit the go go.
I mean, he is that like butter, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah. I actually saw. I follow a cat on Twitter. I wish I could remember his name. He's a young cat, and he actually posted a picture that he met Nick Diaz, and then a couple weeks later, he had like I think it was his fourth or fifth amateur fight. He ended up hitting. He got taken down. He's a really sloppy striker, but he got taken down and was working the rubber guard, and eventually got to an omoplata position. But he actually rolled with it, so it was a mounted mounted go-go plata, and then started punching the dude in the face until he tapped. And I was like, man, if you can get your striking together and you got jujitsu like that, you can get Tony Ferguson a run for his money, dog. Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
I've never seen a mounted go-go plata. That sounds like it'd be so painful.
Yeah, could you imagine being on the other end? That would hurt you just putting it on somebody.
Yeah.
The pressure against your chin.
It's kind of similar to the amount of pain I imagine old Yushin felt when OSP hit that Von Prue choke on him.
Man, I'm a Yushin fan. That wasn't fair.
Yeah,
'Cause
not fair.
that size difference was astronomical.
He was coming up. His last fight was at 170 in World Series of Fighting.
He came up 2 weight classes.
And
Yeah,
I mean I'm from Tennessee, so like I know I was I'm like I'm kind of a Vols fan. I was supposed to go to school there, but I ended up going to Memphis, so I kind of I'm forced into being a Memphis fan. But when he played for Tennessee, dude, he's huge. Like he is football strong. He's like that athlete strong. He's not just fighter like a scrappy like wrestler type. He's like, I'm not saying wrestlers aren't athletes. That's not what I meant to say. But there's some fighters who are just like scrappy guys. He's like a legit athlete. He's just never lived up to his potential.
It's like Rumble was talking about when he retired that he's an athlete, not a fighter.
Yeah. And he doesn't like to get hit. He doesn't like to train and get hit and strain.
Brock's the same way.
Yep.
And that's Brock's biggest downfall is he doesn't like to get hit.
And it shows in his fights too.
Yeah, because if he ends up getting hit, his face is gonna get messed up for a while.
And he covers up. He's not good at hiding it because in the WWE, you know when it's about to happen. And in UFC, it's like it's out of control, and it gets over him, and it gets pain. Ooh.
Oh man, when the way that he tried to get away from Kane when Kane hit him, he scrambled across the octagon. And if that had been in a ring, he would have jumped down the ropes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I probably would have too if Kane come at me like that. Shoot, I can't blame him.
So what did you guys take out of the Rising card?
Yeah, here let me pull up the list real quick. So let's see. You were saying what was the family that you said? Both of them lost, the Yamamotos.
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks so bad. Is that Ishii guy? Was he related to Satoshi?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess it's just a pretty common name in Japan. I guess the first fight I saw was the Banner fight, and then that head kick right afterwards. I can't remember the gentleman's name. I guess it was it Manel? Yeah, Manel Capet. He head kicked him, dropped him, and then it was like a minute into the fight. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he dropped Urson Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That, I didn't realize that was who got. I thought they were back to back.
They tried to defend that too. Like they later on the night, if you all caught, and the Vegeta fight, they tried to go back and almost say that Yamamoto stoppages early. They made the comment where,
oh really?
If we had a different referee, that fight would have kept going. You see?
Oh, he's the cat. He's the cat that they wanted to fight Horiguchi, right?
Yep.
Because he's really small.
Yeah, that's the dude.
Probably.
They were hoping for
I
that.
think I saw Horiguchi sitting like cage or ringside, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, so you missed the whole run out of the ring, and
I didn't know anything was going on. So was there like a
Who was that ran out there and got in Horiguchi's face?
I saw that on Twitter, but that was like right before I had gotten on and logged in and everything. I saw him like he won, and then he got in the dude's face. But that wasn't like a tournament, like to fight for Horiguchi or anything. Because I thought Horiguchi was to be in a tournament.
Actually, when it comes down to that Kappei Yamamoto fight, that was a part of the Bantamweight Grand Prix, which Horiguchi is a part of.
But he was like has a bias that he's the best.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No, I was also.
No,
surprised.
wait, actually, when it comes down to Horiguchi, he defeated Hideo Tokoro in the first round.
Yeah, that's who we beat the first round.
And that was a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he beat the snot out of that man. Oh, that was so hard to watch.
Man, there's a lot of things that are hard to watch lately in MMA. Even tonight, like I was disappointed to see. I didn't expect to see Kawajiri get flatlined.
Yeah, that was really brutal. He was. I mean, that's just like what's his face? Burchak said on the commentary. That's Father Time catching up to you.
Me, because you got prospects like Gabriel Oliveira, who just come out of nowhere beating cans in Brazil.
Yeah.
And now he's on a major stage, like Ryzen, beating one of the greatest Japanese MMA fighters of all time.
I mean, just completely finished him.
No, he didn't completely finish him. He completely murked him.
Absolutely. That seemed to be like the theme of the night.
And I mean, to be honest, when it comes down to Oliveira, I think when the fight was starting, everybody was probably long before the fight was even set to begin. When the fight was first announced, people were basically undermining Oliveira, basically saying, "Oh, Kawajiri's gonna dust this bum. He's gonna go back to fighting more bums in Brazil." But we realize now that the reason why he's 9-0, Oliveira, Gabriel the Diamond Oliveira, is 9-0 is because he probably has knockout. He probably has knockout power in both hands and both feet.
Yeah, he showed it tonight.
Mm-hmm. And he basically knows how to handle that knockout power well, which is what he showed against Kawajiri.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that when it comes down to the next round of the Bantamweight Grand Prix, which is going to resume on, I have a feeling that whoever faces either Oliveira or Kappei are going to be in for a very rude awakening.
Yeah. Do they already have that bracket set up?
Had the bracket set up for the 3 fights and the 1 wild card fight, which was Oliveira versus Kawajiri. That happened tonight. They'll probably have the matchup set for the Grand Prix quarterfinals on December 29th within the next few weeks.
Yeah, that was kind of the theme of the night. I think overall, like what I took out of the night the most was that there's a lot of talent the Ryzen had on the card tonight that is young, raw talent that just needs to be worked out, but it has a lot of potential.
Especially with this tournament that they're doing, the Grand Prix, with Horiguchi being that guy that was able to get that shot against Mighty Mouse at such a young age and be able to almost make it to the end of the fight against Mighty Mouse, the greatest of all time, in my opinion. Like if someone can come in and get a win over him in this Grand Prix, that boosts their promotion. It's like when the UFC guys go over to Bellator and you like the Benson Hendersons, and then Koreshkov beats the crap out of him. Michael Chandler ragdolls him. They say it's bad for Bellator because you gave him all this money and he's not giving you the results, but it also shows that the guys that you're paying, or the guys that you already have been a stablemate in your company, can compete with these top level guys, and that's not something that people have the respect for in regards to Ryzen compared to like a Bellator, like which generally, like I think in my opinion, known that the top 5 in Bellator and most of the division could compete against a lot of people in the UFC, like compete and do very well.
Yeah, I think that like Michael Chandler could definitely hang with some top guys up there, and I mean
just like Eddie, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, Eddie was kind of a different case. Eddie was already one of the top in the world before Bellator. He didn't. Bellator was just a stop along the way. He had held a title in everywhere he'd been. Eddie's been one of my top favorite fighters for a very long time, all the way back to
Bodog.
Yeah, all the way back to there. His rivalry that he had with Aoki is one of my favorite rivalries in MMA.
And Chandler, dude, I actually rewatched all 3 of the Alvarez Chandler Bellator fights the other night, and just you never realize like how big of a warrior that guy is. Like you see that beating that he gave Dos Anjos, man, and you're like, that's the Eddie Alvarez that I know and love. Because those fights against Chandler, dude, even though he lost that first one, he literally was almost out of there within the first 30 seconds. And he came back and put the smack down on Chandler, and then they just went back and forth. I think he won the second one, and then Chandler won the third. I can't remember, but man, he's a hero.
Exactly, and to be honest, just a little side note, I'm pretty sure he's going to be unleashing that same type of intensity on Justin Gaethje when they fight.
And Gaethje's another great example. I mean, he came over from World Series of Fighting. Everybody was like, he's not going to be able to hang with the top dogs. And
put them things on Michael Johnson, dude.
I mean, him and Michael Johnson put on a great fight, and Johnson just didn't capitalize. He had him hurt a couple of times and just didn't finish. And, I mean...
He hurt him right off the bat.
And I have a thing that there have been more souls lost at 155 than any other division. And Gaethje just added Johnson to the list. So when he hit him and the way he buckled against the cage, it's like it reminded me of the way that Edgar hit Maynard, and Maynard was never the same after that one shot.
It was almost like he didn't fall because the shots to the head. It's just like his legs gave out. He was just I'm done. I don't want.
Like his body was just like no more.
Yeah, and it's another guy who's like, I mean, he has a win over Tony Ferguson. Like, he's clearly a great fighter, but like, I think he got in his own head in that fight because he was talking all that stuff, trying to like psych himself up, saying that he was a wrestler and he was gonna knock Gaethje out and this, that, and the other. And he really almost did it like right off the bat. And then every time Gaethje started landing those low kicks, I think that's what really started messing him up, because then he started having to keep an eye on that. And then
I'd like to see where some of the talent from Risen like stacks up in a couple years like that. Like those guys like Gaethje and Chandler, and to a lesser extent Will Brooks, because I don't hold Will Brooks UFC run against him because he's had the worst luck.
Literally the worst luck.
And like I don't know, like him and Ian McCall have had the worst luck I've ever seen MMA fighters.
And Ian's another guy who I would like to see Ian go into Ryzen and possibly face Horiguchi.
Now, when they signed him, a lot of people don't realize that for a while before UFC had a division, Ian McCall was the number one.
He was what they wanted Demetrius to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he lost because it wasn't their first fight in the WEC.
No, their first fight was in the UFC, and it was a draw supposed to go to sudden death, and the referees scored it wrong.
Yeah. And then they rematched and he won, but then he had all those injuries and stuff. But like he has that like. What I was trying to get at was after he lost, they thought it was going to be Benavidez's division, and then that fight was close, and then DJ knocked him out the second time.
I thought it was going to be Benavidez's division. I thought Benavidez was going to walk through.
I thought he was too the second time he fought him, and then he got flatlined, and I was like, well, I don't know anything clearly.
Where has he been at, by the way?
He's on a knee. He tore his ACL. He was supposed to fight. It's been about 4 or 5 months, so I think he should be probably getting back within the next 4 or 5. But
And I feel like the ACL. I feel like he did that like forever ago, but I guess it hasn't. It's been.
Who was he supposed to fight? He was supposed to fight Ben Nguyen in Australia or New Zealand or something, and then I think Louis Smolka, or no, not Louis Smolka. Tim Elliott took the fight, and that was when Ben. That was when Ben
Nguyen is somebody that it was pulled off like the what's his name tonight did against Kawajiri. That's somebody who came out of nowhere and showed everybody that he was legit.
Well, I've known about Ben Nguyen for a while.
Came off of knocking out some bum.
Oh, we lost him. Oh, he'll come back, I think. But no, I've known about Ben Nguyen.
He was mid talk too. Where'd he go?
Yeah, I don't know. He must have hit the wrong button. He'll probably call us back here in a second. But Ben Nguyen was the guy who got viral because did you see that video on YouTube that, or basically everywhere? It was the tattoo guy that got in his face, and they're facing off, and he's just smiling. He's like a real cool cat.
Yeah, okay. Jules the Jackal.
Yeah, and he like puts his fist in his face, and he's just smiling, and then he comes out there and gets starched in like 10 seconds. It was so satisfying to watch, and he actually had a really good run. I believe was he one of the guys who beat Louis Smolka? No, that was Brandon Moreno. Oh, there you go.
There we go.
What were you saying about Ben Nguyen?
Basically, what I was saying was when it comes down to Ben Nguyen, he got his name off of somebody who was trying to troll him, trying to play mind games against him.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Tim Elliott or
talking about Jules?
No, actually,
you're talking about
when he was on the indie circuit in Australia.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest videos I've ever seen.
Yeah, he basically beat up a dude that was chock full of tattoos.
Yeah, Jules the Jackal. He's the one who
and he did the disrespect.
He released all of Jesse. He got mad and released all of Jesse, the female MMA fighters.
Yeah,
that's why he got blacklisted.
When he put his fist in his face like that, the disrespect, you don't do that to another man. But he got dealt with the next day, so got into the UFC for it too. So because it all worked out for him.
Yeah. So. I'm interested to see because I feel like some of the young talent that we watched tonight is gonna be the next wave of like your Ben Nguyen's.
I've got another point on that. Talking about the guys coming from like Strike Force, let's say, like Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, and Nunes. People forget how many people in Strike Force. If there's really that much international talent out there like this, and especially in Japan where MMA was, just focal point. I think we lost him again back in the Pride days. But if we can start getting those guys up to the skill level where they can get the training like we're getting in America over there, that's when they'll really start being able to come over and compete. Really, like you get your guys like Horiguchi and like just the freaks of the freaks who will be able to compete anywhere. But to get like the overall population, I think you're going to have to get it to the point where the coach, it's going to take a couple of years where these guys like Kawajiri are like starting to coach and Horiguchi starting to coach, and they can really like get the full training that they need without having to come to America to get that training. Like a lot of people always like leave that, like Gedalia and Andrade is a good example. Andrade was making fun of Gedalia because she came to America to get her training. She was like, I'll beat your ass with my Brazilian training. And she did. And that, I mean, it worked. It worked out for her. So I can't hit on that logic.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great training and a lot of camps, worldwide. Some of the best camps aren't even in the United States. But I think exactly what you're saying. It seems to be like, I don't know if it's just like the living conditions, the accessibility, and the resources or whatnot, but it does seem that like a lot of fighters, when they're ready to take that next step, they consolidate to the U.S.
Mm-hmm. It always seems to be like you get in a rut in your career, like you have a bad wrestling problem. Oh, go to Team Alpha Male and go fix it.
So if you're a small person, go over there, or go to Extreme Couture and work with their wrestling there.
Yeah.
You need wrestling. You either go to like Coconut Creek or you go to Sacramento.
You want to get paid? Go to Muscle Farm in Denver.
Well, they lost that deal.
They really?
Yep.
I knew that. I knew that wasn't going to work out. I didn't. How are they going to make money?
So a lot of people don't realize it's flown under the radar over the last a couple months ago. They split gyms again.
You're talking about like the actual Muscle Farm gym?
The Marshall Farm and Elevation team. They
split.
They split again. And
was it Dwayne Ludwig's fault?
no, it was a lot of it was just splitting the gym and Muscle Farm. Just pulling out some of the money.
Oh yeah, I can see how they probably weren't getting much of a return from an investment now that TJ's not champ anymore. Oh, he's back.
Mhm.
Where you keep dipping out on us.
Hey, I'm sorry, but I don't know if y'all can barely hear me or I can barely
you're good.
hear y'all.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Well then, how about we dip back into this Rising card and just go match
Let's
by
get it
match?
now that we're actually at the point where I've seen the fights.
All right, start us off.
So, first of all, what did y'all thought about the 3 kickboxing bouts that started off the card? Even though I know both of y'all didn't really see them.
I saw highlights.
Yeah, I enjoyed I did end up getting to go back and finish the full Yuki fight. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely enjoyed them. They were fast paced and they came to fight. That's what I enjoyed about it. There wasn't a lot of clinching tonight. They came out there to put on a show, and that's exactly what they did. They were hitting hard too.
I did love the pacing of the card. It actually helped it flow a lot more so than the UFC events where it's like 20
Michael, can we hear you?
fights. A lot more so than the UFC events where it's like 20 fights.
What's up? We good?
The sound like got super delayed. I could hear myself and it was
You there, dude?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us, dude? Chris?
Oh, it's super delayed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think your connection is pretty bad.
Yeah, my connection really
It's
ain't
going
the
in and
best.
out. But what we were
My
saying was
connection really ain't the best, but it's doing okay, I guess.
Okay, we should
You're
be
good
good
now.
now. Let me make sure my sound settings are good. All right, let's give it a shot. So what about you, Chris? What did you think about the kickboxing?
Well, first of all, when it comes down to the results, and I'm trying to get to them momentarily, but when it comes down to the first fight, let me see if I got the names here. This computer's taking forever. When it comes down to Yusuke Mad Dog Morimoto defeating Ryota Rensei, I thought that was the best kickboxing knockout I've seen. I mean, even though it dragged all the way to the third round of a 3-round by 3-minute fight, I mean, that was probably one of the better kickboxing knockouts I've seen.
Which one was that again?
Huh?
Which one was that again? I didn't catch that one.
The first fight.
Morimoto versus Rensei Jim.
Yeah,
Wow,
Yoshihisa
these
Mad
names are
Dog
ridiculous.
Morimoto versus Ryota.
Okay, cool. I'm looking it up to see if I can find it real quick. So that was the first fight of the night, you said?
Yeah, when it comes down to that fight, Morimoto versus Ryota, I thought that knockout had a lot of pop going to it. A lot of basically it was probably one of the best it's probably one of the best knockouts I've seen in kickboxing outside of what I've seen with Glory kickboxing this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was pure velocity into that. That was like if that's how you throw a shot with the intention to take somebody's head off. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm. In the second fight, defeated Hironoi Darvish, aka Hironoi Kurogi, aka Kurogi Darvish. Now,
you said
when it comes
the list I'm looking at says that fight was a majority draw.
Yeah, that was the one.
And the thing about that fight was those two kicked the crap out of each other. Those two
I
were.
agree with it being a draw as well. I'm not sure how you
Mhm.
guys felt, but
Hey, I
it was
agree
just
with it
like
being a draw too, and I won't be surprised if they end up getting a rematch in one of the big Japanese kickboxing promotions, perhaps Rise, which is where Yuki fights at.
yeah, that's what one of the
And
things right after I was like, I tweeted, I was like, I would definitely watch these two fight again because I would. That was a they went in there with the intention to put each other to sleep, and they didn't do it, but fought they f- to a hell of a fight.
and the third kickboxing bout was Issei Ishii, Issei Ishii, losing to Jin Mandokoro, Mandokoro, via split decision. But to be honest, that fight was a little bit boring to me. I mean, not trying to down these two competitors, even though they were 19 years old. They're basically 112 pounds. But that fight, for them being as small as they are, was a bit boring to me. It just.
It was like every time they
I.
started to like feel each
Mm-hmm.
other out, they would pull back. It was like they wanted to go for it,
Yep.
but then they would hesitate. I think that's just
Yeah,
inexperience.
and I'm not trying to down these young men or throw shade on them, as the kids say. but really, these dudes need to work a little bit more on their. They need to work a little bit more on their hustle, their stamina. Maybe actually giving the fans something to cheer about instead of just dragging the fight all the way out.
Yeah, they
As
also
far
had
as.
a lot to live up to
Mhm.
after the first two.
Mm-hmm. And
That
as
is
far
true.
as the kickboxing bouts are concerned, the one thing that kind of confused me was we didn't get to see any of their records. We didn't get to see what their
So
overall
it just showed
kickboxing
their
records
Oh,
names.
was.
I didn't catch that. I guess because I was like settling down initially when I came in. But did they not show their records when they came out? Oh, obviously not. If you
No,
said I didn't catch
neither
that.
one of the three fights shown the fighter records.
Sometimes they have really suspect records when it's the lower end of a kickboxing card.
Well, it's a
Hmm.
lot of Asian and martial arts in general have a lot of suspect records. That's why a lot of guys don't ever really talk about training purposes, but a lot of guys don't ever leave because they can make money not having to fight unsuspect fights.
Right. I mean, can't blame them
Hey,
for
if you
that.
think that's bad, try. If you think that's bad, try fighting in China. They always hide their records.
Hey,
Oh yeah, I
I
don't.
mean,
We've
if
had
they can take Rico Verhoeven to Bigfoot Silva to China, I don't trust anything that they do because that's borderline criminal if you ask me. I don't think that fight should have ever taken place.
See, I was like crossing fingers that Bigfoot was just gonna knock him out and just like pull like
I'm not
unreal.
saying I had a dream or like a premonition that was gonna happen, but it kind of like felt like something like Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm type, where you're like, I know it's literally impossible that she's gonna beat Ronda Rousey, but how crazy would that be? And then he came out there and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we should have expected. He was throwing wheel kicks like I've never seen him throw before. He was big. He was really trying to take Bigfoot out of there. I'm glad that ref saved his life though. He was really about to just go really just never come back from that.
So moving after the kickboxing is when we went into the first Yamamoto fight versus Irene Rivera, and I
Yeah.
honestly thought for that fight, thought that Yamamoto actually was gonna get that one. Irene looked a little tall and stiff at first, but as soon as it went to the ground, she hit that. I think the first time she went to the rubber guard, and then she started working mission control in the last two rounds, or I mean the second round, and which she got the sub.
Yeah, when it comes down to Rivera, and by the way, the official fight time was 2 minutes, 25 seconds at round number 2 that Irene defeated Miyu in that second round. But, yeah, this was the first fight of the two Yamamoto dust-ups because everybody was saying how much of a favorite that Miyu was going into this fight. Even the commentators were puzzled about how much of a favorite Miyu was. But I think, in my honest opinion, seeing the fact that Irene had the
Sorry,
better
guys.
record going into this fight, I think the better fighter won for obvious reasons.
No, I agree. I was surprised that Yamamoto was a heavy favorite. She didn't. I don't think that in her last couple of, or any of her pro fights that she has looked uh, as promising as she's been hyped up to be, just due to bloodline, and that's no insult to her.
I was about to say, as someone who didn't get to see the fight, I would be willing to bet that the last name carried a lot of value, especially in a area that is borderline run by the Yakuza. Have you guys ever written Mark Hunt's autobiography before? I don't know if it was autobiography, but it was a book that he wrote. He kind of like went into the whole
I never
Yakuza
read
thing
it.
and Pride.
I didn't read that, but I know that there was the former president of Pride they found in the bathtub in a suitcase or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean,
and there was some like crazy stuff, like some reasoning behind that too. Like he owed somebody money, or
Yakuza. If you watch old Pride events when they show the announcer booth, that first row behind them, most of those guys sitting in the black suits are Yakuza. It's
that's crazy.
kind of like now when you watch JCD, it shows the front row and it's Kadyrov and his Dagestan crew.
Oh yeah, that's a tough situation.
And then when
Well,
like when
that's
the UFC was
mostly in
Rotterdam,
Russia, though. That's mostly in Russia, though. When they go outside, actually, that's mostly in Russia or Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
When they go outside of Eastern Europe, when they go to California, or last night they were in Montreal, Quebec, which is in Canada.
I've got to
You
go
don't
catch
see
up on
those.
that. I was working last night.
Yeah, but when they go outside of the Eastern European bloc, the former Soviet bloc, you don't see Kadyrov and his goons at an ACB show.
right.
Well, I was surprised that they actually gave him screen time at UFC Rotterdam. He wasn't
Did they
there,
really?
he wasn't there, but his goons were there.
Goodness gracious, especially with all, even with
And
Helwani
it's crazy too because
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, like with
It's
Helwani
crazy.
talking about it, it's like getting out there, like everybody knows about the situation now. Like it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be a guy that's being seen in the public, like especially on a UFC show or anybody that associates with them. I know Verdum, I think, has a relationship with him, which is kind of messed up, but I don't know. I don't know the full story. I just know that I've been hearing a lot about that name.
you can thank Kareem Zidane of BloodyElbow.com for getting
Yes,
his name out in the first
Exactly
place.
what I was about to say. I was about to name drop Karim Zidane.
He's the one who's going like deep in
why-
the trenches and learning about it and putting it out there.
His pieces are great. He's been trying to bring it to light for years. He's probably, there's a lot of MMA journalists out there, and I'm just a fanboy with a keyboard, so I can't cast too much shade. But a lot of journalists out there are trying to call themselves journalists.
Yeah.
But Karim Zidane is out there, and he's actually an investigative journalist. He's out
Absolutely.
there doing the best work right now, in my opinion. in the sport.
Putting himself in harm too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that is a really, really good point, because you see a lot of people out there who just like want to say that they're dipping their toes in the water, like in the journalism thing. But he's really out there in the trenches doing what's got to be done and like getting this information out there. Because without him, like I don't know if we would even know about this story. And it's a big deal. It's a big, huge deal.
Well, other than major television networks, but they believe just throw under the. Now, let's just go ahead and get back to this Rising card.
Yeah.
The next fight was Kana Asakura defeating Sylvia Yuskowicz via unanimous decision. Now, what were y'all thoughts about that fight?
That was still before I had.
That was still before you came in.
For the evening.
Now that was the. How did that was a unanimous
decision.
Right?
It was a unanimous decision.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
It
think
was a
back.
unanimous decision for Asakura.
I remember thinking back during the fight that Asakura was dominating, and I had her going to the decision. But honestly, off the top of my head, it wasn't a very memorial
Memorable.
fight. Yeah, that was the other thing. Memorable. Sorry, it's late. I've been up for like almost 24 hours. Wasn't a very
I'm over here talking about everything but the fights that we watched tonight. So don't even worry about it, man.
It wasn't a very memorable fight, unless I'm blanking on something. What was your fight on it, Chris?
Hmm?
What was your opinion on it?
When it came down to the Asakura Yuskowitz fight, I thought Kana dominated Sylvia. I really did, because even though Miss Yuskowitz fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk in her first MMA fight, she sure didn't really, in my opinion, she really didn't show that intensity she had from from women like damn it, what am I trying to say?
From JJ?
She doesn't have the intensity of a Joanna Jędrzejczyk or Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Not many women in this world do.
Yeah, and basically, she just let Kana take her to town.
Yeah.
She just basically, I applaud her for the effort she tried and put together, but she didn't really do a good job at trying to keep herself above water, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely got outclassed all through the fight. I think that's what kind of. It was more so. The performance wasn't memorable on one side. If that makes sense.
And I'll add something. I know when you mentioned Joanna and Carolina, we're kind of at this infancy state of female MMA, kind of how people talk about DJ in the flyweight division, how there's so much room to go, and you see a Joanna or you see a Carolina or even a Cadelia and an Andrade, and you expect that kind of like tenacity from every type of fighter, in that size and like obviously female, but it's just the sport has a long way to go for the men and the women at that size. And until we get to I know this was still a kickboxing match, right?
No, this was MMA.
This was MMA.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, word. Yeah, so you see the highest level, and you want to compare it to that, but then you have to realize that there's like eventually going to be these ladies coming up slowly, and they hopefully one day we'll get to the point where they can be like in the UFC and competing against these killers. But until like 5-10 years, when that division starts to grow and we have more women like Joanna and Carolina, I think you're going to see a lot of fights like that where it kind of is similar to like the Pearl Gonzalez fight, let's say, just where it was just possibly the most boring fight ever at UFC 216. If you guys remember what I'm talking about.
The most boring fight ever.
Of course.
Women's fight, at least.
Of course. I think I remember what y'all talking about.
Yeah. Sorry to digress again from the Rising card.
I'll do say for Akana Asakura, one thing that did stick out to me was she had this amazing takedown early on where she passed guard as she was mid takedown in the air. And I'm just thinking if she can
that
hit
is very creative.
if she can continue to hit those, that's going to give a lot of women problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about now. That is actually a very aesthetically pleasing to someone who appreciates a good grappler.
Because she hits the takedown from the right side, and by the time that she on the ground,
she had already stepped over.
And basically found herself into half guard. It was pretty great.
Yeah, see, like as a jiu-jitsu guy myself, that's almost like as aesthetically pleasing as what Mighty Mouse did, where he just like went from midair throw, not as athletically impressive, but technically, like it's just like when you see something that you've never seen before, you're like, oh, that's possible. So something like that, if you can build on those moves, yeah, maybe you can bring that to the division and you can give some of these girls problems. I mean, because if you can do that, then good Lord knows what she's doing in the gym, you know?
You know, speaking of giving somebody problems, Maria Netta Oliveira defeated Tiny Tim Garcia, Alyssa Garcia, and gave her a ton of problems on the way to a unanimous decision victory. What were your thoughts on that?
That fight, uh, I'm gonna be rewatching that fight quite a few times because I made some comments on Twitter that I want to go back and see if I was just in the heat of the moment and was coaching, or if I was actually onto something. She wasn't using she wasn't using the size difference or taking the size into consideration at all. She um, Garcia, that is. Garcia has a lot of potential, and Josh Barnett coached her perfectly. He did
Yeah,
everything
he's
right
an
in the
amazing
coach.
coach.
I mean, I'm not sure if you caught that one or not, Mikey. If you did
No,
it,
no,
you
no. But
came at the next one, right? At the
but
banner.
she competed in Rising before, and Josh was there coaching, right?
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
Josh coached her perfectly nice, but she didn't listen to him after a certain point, and that, in my
I
opinion,
remember
was
that being I remember that being the case from the first time I saw it because it's the way that the crowd is. It's so quiet, and you can always hear the coaches. And he's obviously has a very identifiable voice. And I remember the first time, I believe it might have been the last one that they did a few months back. You could hear him just telling her exactly what she needed to do. And I don't know if she was gassed or was too out of shape to do it, or just not simply not strong enough to do it. But he was telling her exactly what she needed to do. It sounds like he did the same tonight.
like I feel like she has a lot of potential, but Oliveira just dominated her, and she used her size properly and prevented all of her takedowns. Garcia wasn't dropping. She was trying to just. She was. Her shots were very blatant. Like she didn't try to set them up after a certain or after like the first round, and she was just trying to shoot at the hips and no leg work. Uh, there was one point in the fight where I felt like all she needed to do was just drop to one knee and then just spring through, and she would have got the takedown.
Mhm.
But she was content with just trying to grab her hips and drag her to the ground, and it wasn't working.
In my
Right.
opinion, I think Garcia is going to need to go back to the snake pit in Whittier, California, UWF USA, to work a little bit more on her. Well, work a little more on her striking game. Work a little more on her grappling because she has a group of world class grapplers like Josh Barnett
I mean,
to help her out. But really, she
like Josh
she was just
Barnett,
getting worked on
she
by
was she did.
Oliveira in this fight.
Oliveira worked her completely, and I feel bad for talking more about Garcia, who was the loser, instead of Oliveira, who was actually the winner. But
Hmm.
I feel like as great as Oliveira looked in this win, she really made Garcia look bad in her loss.
Interesting. And that you actually see that a lot in MMA. Sometimes the loser walks away with I guess their head held a little bit higher than the winner. I guess
No,
that'd be
I'm saying that more so like Oliveira really outclassed Garcia so much that it's easy for me to remember the fight as Garcia getting outclassed.
I see what you're saying. I'm really tired, man. I totally
you're
took that out of context.
And as far as Oliveira goes, I know that they're trying to coin her as the female version of Anderson the Spider Silva, but she wasn't out of the woods on that fight either. I think we need to see a little bit more of her striking
That's an
as
aggressive
she
approach.
goes on in the. Yeah, I think she needs to go work on her striking a little bit more with Pahana Valetudo down there in Brazil.
Mhm.
And, maybe the next time she competes for Ryzen, which will be December 29th, because she advanced into the Atomweight Grand Prix,
Mhm.
maybe next time we'll get a chance to see more of that striking-based
I-
offense that she should be known for.
Yeah, because I didn't see the female Anderson Silva tonight. They hyped it up, but I didn't see it.
I had never even heard of this girl before. But you do hear that a lot.
Like, dude, she wasn't out of the woods at all. Like, she was saved by the bell there at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a lot of that tonight. We saw quite a few fights there. The bell saved them.
And come to think of it, going into this next fight, I mean, I hate to say that a lot of fighters were saved by the bell tonight, but I just wish that somebody would have saved Jerome Labana before he even stepped in the ring.
I swear.
I made the joke when they were walking out because Martinez reminded me his build and just overall appearance and reminded me so much of Mark Hunt. I made the joke that how many times is Labana gonna have to face Mark Hunt in his career? But now, you know, he probably wishes he had been facing Mark Hunt because he's finished Hunt before and Hunt didn't choke him out with an armpit choke.
Yeah, true that. And talking about people getting saved by the bell, I know we're kind of jumping ahead, but just getting into the fights that I actually did get to see. King Reina, that armbar she had at the end of the first round, I really thought if that went at least 10 more seconds, she was taking that arm home with her because that was in deep.
Yeah.
And that girl she fought was huge, too.
Oh, and you know what? Going back, not that we should probably talk about it, but going back a little bit to the Miyu Yamamoto fight, I initially thought that fight ended. I didn't realize that she had tapped through the armbar. I initially thought she tapped due to the wardrobe malfunction.
Due to the what?
You have to watch the replay, but her top completely came up when she hit the armbar on her. And so that's when she realized she was exposed.
Like Valley Returna style against Beck Rawlings, I think, when she got kicked in like the chest area and her like sports bra like came up. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, probably a little more than that.
There was a little bit more going on there. There were a little bit more.
So I actually thought that fight ended due to.
Give her a little nickname, and I give her a little nickname whenever she fights. I give Miyu Yamamoto a nickname whenever she fights. To be honest, I think that wardrobe malfunction just leaves a little bit behind the imagination.
Yeah, so that's what my initial thought, and then I saw the other angle, saw that it was that. But initially, I was like, wait a second, what is she tapping to? Like, is the armbar? And it was. But yeah, so to get back on track, we were ready to come right at the
armpit choke from Rock Martinez to Jerome Labana. I mean, to be honest, here's a guy in Martinez who's from Federal Way, Washington originally. Now he lives on the island of Guam. He basically made his name in Pacific Extreme Combat and is the current Deep Megaton champion by defeating, of all people, Jaideep Hart Singh.
Oh, wow.
And he's just trying to make his name. And you got a guy in Labana who's a kickboxer. Huh?
I see that was an open weight fight. All I saw was the finish. How much bigger was he than Labana? Because I know Labana is huge.
Oh, Labana came in at a ready trim 250 pounds.
Really?
Martinez came in.
Looked phenomenal shape tonight. Like Labana looked great physically.
Even though Martinez came in at like a good 268, 270.
Good Lord.
Even though that happened, I mean, I'm pretty sure it wasn't really all about weight disadvantage as it was overall skill, because you got Martinez, who's made his name in Pacific Extreme Combat and is the current Deep Megaton champion, against a guy in Labana who, while he is a kickboxing legend, hasn't fought in a mixed martial arts bout since New Year's Eve 2010.
Ooh.
So all the times he had been in Rising before, those were kickboxing matches. Hadn't he done a couple fights in Rising?
No, actually, he's never fought for Rising before. He was supposed to have fought.
That's what it was.
In 2015 on the second fight card against this Estonian sumo wrestler named Baruto.
Yeah. That was the was that the New Year's Eve card that year? That first one.
Yeah,
Their
first New Year's Eve card back on December 31st, 2015.
Was that when Fedor fought Jadip Singh? It might. I can't remember.
Jadip Singh lost to Fedor on that night, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the. I remember that. That was so embarrassing to watch.
It was.
It was better than watching him fight Maldonado, though.
Yeah, exactly. But still.
Yeah.
But still, as far as the Martinez fight, the Martinez-Labana fight is concerned, I'm pretty sure that after that finish, that armpit choke finish of Labana, from Martinez, I think we're going to see a lot more of Rock Martinez in the near future with Rise, and hopefully he'll get another shot.
Yeah, that was going to be what I was about to ask you, is if you thought that Martinez had the potential to be legit further down the road as well.
Well, he was on a 6-fight winning streak going into this fight, now 7. So I'm pretty sure he's got potential now.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where he goes. And like you said, it's a name win for him, and it's only going to bring himself more opportunities with that victory.
How
exactly?
You guys know how old he is?
Labana is 44, right?
Yeah, but I'm looking up Cat who
I'm looking up Rock right now. Rock Martinez is.
He's only 8-0. It looks like, or no, that's somebody else.
No, he's 12-4.
12-4.
Yeah, but he is. I can't find his age. That's not on
Well,
Sherdog.
let's just say I'm gonna go ahead and check on Tapology now, because I know it says his name. I mean, I know it says his age somewhere, but he's right up there.
He doesn't look like no spring chicken, but he also doesn't look like he's too old either.
Exactly. I mean, considering the fact that Labana is only, 44, 45,
he might be in his mid-30s.
Especially going into this fight. Yeah, he might be in his late 20s or early 30s, to be honest. I think last time I checked, I seen an article saying that he was like 28.
Huh. I mean, yeah, he's pretty big. So he could be
like
yeah, I can see that.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna say based on his been fighting since like 08, at least in MMA, so I'm assuming he's got to be at least early 30s.
Yeah, basically he's been fighting since his earlier mid-20s, basically.
Guys, are you guys losing me?
It's kind of delayed, but I can hear you.
All right, something's going on with the stream here. If it cuts out, I apologize.
It looks like we're good. I keep checking on YouTube, and it looks like we're still going.
All right, maybe it's just.
Can y'all still hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're all good. I can hear everybody.
All right, well, I'm not gonna touch anything.
Okay.
Oh, I do see what you're saying. That it says something went wrong. Tap to retry, but it says someone's watching. That one person might be me. I don't know. So like, even if it's still live, it can still be watched. Like later, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, then next we had the
Ersin Yamamoto Manel Cape fight in the Bantamweight Grand Prix.
And that didn't last long at all.
Yeah, that was 2 minutes.
That was 1 minute and 11 seconds into round number 1.
And what do you think about that? Did you think that was an early stoppage or timely?
You go first, because I have my own thoughts on it.
It sure was timely to me. I mean, granted, Cape, he came in cocky. He came in like a hellish rooster, fresh to peck somebody's head off. And yeah, even though he played a little bit of the heel role in the pre-fight introduction,
Hey, we kind of lost you
walking
there.
down in the world and all that stuff. When we all know this is just who was a nobody beforehand. I mean, still, the dude played his role to a T, and he basically beat Urson like he was a first class whipping boy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
he
tend to
did.
be on. I tend to err on the side of caution when it comes to these things. Like there are things that I draw the line at where I consider it too early, but like for an example, the Mayweather Conor McGregor thing, it wasn't going to get any prettier after that, and so I would rather, like I said, being on the side of caution as opposed to seeing someone take more damage than they need to. So I can see someone saying that it might have been earlier, but I didn't see it getting any better from him throughout. Just based on that 1 minute, it looked like there was a clear technical difference between the two that wasn't really counteracted by anything other than a lucky punch, in my opinion.
And what did you think about that? I'm
Me?
talking to the third guy in the chat.
Yeah, I'm
Frames.
here. I'm just making sure that all this is running smoothly and not disconnecting. No, I thought the stoppage was timely. I could see why they would have thought it was a little early, but once I saw it from the ref cam that he went out. It was a flash, but he went out. If you look at it, he knew that kick was coming. He actually closed his eyes to brace for the impact before it hit him. And I think that's good. And I think that's telling. When you know that it's coming and then you take it full and go down.
I think that I see a lot of fights like that too, where guys go out from the initial shot and they kind of bounce up and come back to somewhat, but then you're also in an awkward position there where the ref is like, if I just let him take one or two more shots, he's going to be really, really lights out, and that's two shots that shouldn't be taken. So I like to lean to the side of caution, but I mean that's just me. I can also understand being the fighter aspect. I have a personal friend of mine, Lil Willis. He's 8-0 out of the Memphis, Tennessee area. There is one website, I think Flow Grappling or another website like that, has him ranked as the #3 most prospect in the country, who is not in the UFC or hasn't fought for Bellator or any other major groups. And like seeing someone like him, like I can understand why you would never want the ref to fire stop early, because he actually fought for a World Series of Fighting and was winning the fight the whole time. He's a tremendous wrestler, all-American wrestler. But he got hit with an elbow from the bottom in the end of the second round. Herb Dean was the ref, and he was about to stop it after Jalil was winning the whole time. And I was sitting there watching it like, man, he's losing so much blood. I would understand why they would stop it. But at the same time, it's like my friend, and I'm like, he needs to feed his family, he needs to win, he needs to get this contract. So it's kind of a sticky situation where the ref and the fighters are always going to have to agree to disagree, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely lean towards the side of it being a good stoppage after I watched it from a couple angles and saw the way that it's almost like Yamamoto saw it coming and knew that there's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me, I really didn't care about the stoppage. I really didn't care how early the stoppage was. All I knew was that the second Yamamoto got tagged and bagged by Manel Cape, I knew for certain that he was going to go down. I knew for certain that Yamamoto was going to go down, and there wasn't any way that he was going to get back up from that.
Yeah, it's just so I'm not as familiar with Kate as I feel I should have been.
It's okay, nobody was, but I'm pretty sure that now, because of his antics and because of his fight style, I'm pretty sure that he, like Gabriel Oliveira, who defeated Tatsuya Kawajiri, I'm pretty sure those two guys are going to be names that nobody's going to want to face in that second round of the Bantamweight Grand Prix on December 29th.
So yeah, it was Cape that let himself through the crowd, right? Ran through the crowd and jumped in. Was it her for a Gucci face?
You know what about that? I originally thought Cape
Oh, you're breaking up.
I originally thought Manel Cape was gonna go after Miyu Yamamoto.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Oh no, you're good now. You're good now. You're good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's delayed for him, I think.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Oh, it's delayed for him.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, what I was trying to say was I thought that Manel Cape was gonna go after Miyu Yamamoto until I seen that he was going in the direction of Kyoji Horiguchi, because all I could hear was somebody yelling "fuck you" to Cape. And it was like something was about to happen.
It looks so funny too. It just looks so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before the fight, Cape Cape had said something along the lines that your mom lost earlier and you're about to as well. And then he knocked him out.
Yep.
He called a shot.
But still though, like I said, Manel Cape and Gabriel Oliveira are going to be problems for whoever they face next. They could face each other for all we know. Now, the next fight that happened in the pre was Kevin Petchy, Petshi.
I'm interested to get you guys' opinion on this because I that was one of the ones that I caught that I was kind of confused on. I actually cracked a joke on Twitter. I said, I wonder if they had an Adelaide Bird judging that fight because I did not agree with the decision. I think that's the one that
yeah, that was probably the one. Petchy versus Jae-hoon Moon.
Yeah.
Moon. Petchy defeated Moon via split decision to up his record to 13-3.
But I don't see how they could have even got that to a split decision. I thought I had that unanimous decision for Moon.
And to me, I thought the fight would have gone either way, but I thought that Petchy was dominating the early portions of the first and second round.
See, I had the fight scored for Moon on my end.
So did I.
No, that's definitely one I have to go back and rewatch.
Yeah, me too. Because my initial reaction was just to crack a joke on Twitter, to make an Adelaide Bird joke. I don't really remember why I said that. I just remember thinking that Moon had gotten the better of the exchange and the overall fight.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as they announced the decision, I was initially surprised. I still kind of feel that way, so I'm definitely going to go back. So, Chris,
the commentators.
Why do you feel? Can you go into a little more depth about why you feel that it should have gone? Well, the decision was correct.
Oh yeah, no. The reason why I even bring that up is because I'm sitting here looking at my Twitter, just because I'm kind of forgetting. There were so many fights that they all ran together for me, and I just got to the point where I was. Let's see, what was the last thing I saw? So this was right after I got on the stream, right at the end of the banner fight, and so I kind of like zoned. I think I ran to the gas station for the. Which was it? The Yamamoto fight. Is that yeah, the head kick. And so I missed that. I saw the LeBanner fight, but when I came back, I was like halfway through the fight, and I really don't remember exactly what my reasoning was. I just remember that I thought clearly that who was it?
Moon.
Yeah, the other person, Moon, had won. And I remember the commentary, I was really complimentary of the commentators tonight, and I noticed that Birdshot had said something like, how could they get that score? And I think that was what kind of influenced my opinion.
Well, that's pretty understandable.
Yeah, I think it was more or less I missed the majority of
Can you go more in depth on why you felt like it should have gone to the way that it went?
Well, when it comes down to that particular fight, like I said, I thought that while I did say that Pesci dominated portions of the first two rounds, Moon did have some pretty significant defense and pretty significant offense to hold his own in there. And in my mind, if the fight would have gone a different way, I thought that fight would have ended in a draw. But then again, if it would have ended in a draw, either it would have eliminated both fighters, or we probably would have gotten a fourth round out of it. I mean, I don't know exactly how the rules are supposed to go in Rising once a draw happens. I mean, I'm pretty sure you get an extra round, but in my opinion, had the fight gone a different way, I pretty much would have seen that fight as a split decision for Moon or a draw, if it wasn't in a tournament, of course.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to go diff. That'll be the first when I go back and rewatch when I watch the card.
Okay. Should we move on to the next fight?
Yes. No, I'm gonna let you guys. I don't know what's going on with my computer or my connection, but I am all.
I can hear you.
All right, I can hear you guys too. I'm just all audio. I don't have my monitor just died. I think.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, you're good.
But I'm still here until everything.
I still see you though.
Sweet. So it is just a monitor issue.
Okay, yeah. So you're good.
Hey, the only reason why I turned off my video is because my ugly mug as it is already probably scaring people. So I don't want to mess myself up by trying to get the right shot in.
I hear you.
All right.
I'll lead the charge. I got you guys.
So what do we
okay,
have next?
The next fight, as we move on, the 7th Bantamweight Grand Prix fight, Shintaro Ishiwatari, the Bantamweight King of Pancrase, defeated Ahmed Musakayev via unanimous decision. Thoughts on that?
Did you catch that one?
I think that might have still been when I was at the gas station. I'm confused because I must have just missed a couple of views because I think I just checked in and out. The one after this, hold on, I must be reading it wrong. So I have it as the Moon fight was who was after the Moon fight?
Musakayev versus Ishiwatari.
Okay, yeah, I definitely missed that one. I tuned in for Kawajiri because I'm familiar with him. I'm obviously familiar with King Reina, Andy Sauer, and everybody else. I think this is the last one that I missed.
I understand.
So you guys have had it.
You probably wasn't all that familiar with Ishiwatari or Musakayev because Musakayev was an unknown fighter. Still is, really. But I thought the main part of that fight that got to me was the illegal hit to the groin that Ishiwatari took in the midway point of round 1. I mean,
that was probably the most memorable thing. Groin shots, they're really unfortunate because they do, even if they're accidental, they do a ton of damage.
Mm-hmm. And it probably damages a man's confidence too.
It does, and even if you're like wearing a cup, like you should be, I mean, that's just gonna take the velocity through the cup and just run that right into you anyway.
Exactly.
But I do remember that Ishiwatari landed a heavy shot right before the end. Right before the bell, that I feel like there was another fight that could have gone a little longer that we couldn't see the finish in.
Yeah, and as far as the fight as a whole, for me, while Ishiwatari did hold himself to a high standard of what a fighter like his caliber should be, I mean, after all, he's not a champion in another promotion for nothing. Even though he did get himself back up off that nut shot, he didn't really improve all too much from my opinion. I really thought that at any time after that groin shot, he could have lost momentum and had that fight taken advantage of. That's why he said, I mean, that's why Ishiwatari said after the fight that, he thought he showed a great performance, beg to differ, but he really does need to get back to the drawing board in order to further advance himself past December 29th in the Rising Grand Prix and into the Rising Bantamweight Grand Prix second round and into the semifinals and finals on December 31st.
Since that's something a quality I really respect and I really like in fighters is when they can admit that they need work and that they didn't put on the performance they wanted to. That they're willing to go back and openly admit they're going to go back and try and do better next time. I appreciate that quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has the mindset to do it. Now, and a random tidbit that has nothing to do with the quality of the fight. That Pancrase belt is one of the coolest belts in the sport, in my opinion.
And one of the most legendary. I mean, even though Pancrase predates the UFC by like 9 months, still, that Pancrase belt is pretty legendary.
It is. It was the who's who went through Pancrase before they hit the top everywhere else, and before they were the top in Pride, before they were the top in the UFC. Everybody went through Pancrase.
If it wasn't for Pancrase, we wouldn't have had that beautiful moment, one of my all-time favorite moments in the combat sports history, when Boss Rutan was in a heel hook by Frank Shamrock, had Frank Shamrock in a heel hook, and he just started laughing at him, just getting in his face and just laughing at him. And just some of those fights from the old school Pancrase, the fact that they're still doing it to this day amazes me, because I would have never guessed an organization could last that long. But I'm glad they're still doing their thing over there. I don't actually catch many of their fights, so I'm not familiar with a lot of these fighters. The Ryzen, seeing some of these guys tonight at Ryzen make me want to catch back up on that kind of stuff.
Exactly, even though I wish it wasn't on the Fight Pass, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm a subscriber. I love Fight Pass.
I go back and forth. I'll subscribe next week when Donald Cerrone fights, and then I'll probably not renew it that next month. And I'll be honest, this is just insight to the type of person I am. I'm very forgetful. I lose things a lot. I always lose my debit card, so every time they send me a debit card, I get to sign up for the free trial again. So I never end up having to pay.
See, I'm the guy that puts the 24-hour stream on the. I work from home, so I'm the guy that puts the 24-hour stream on my Chromecast and just
Wait, there's a 24-hour stream on Fight Pass?
Yes.
Of just old fights?
Old fights, their content, interviews, breakdowns.
Well, I guess I know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Well, for me, when it came down to the free Fight Pass preview weekend back in January, I was kind of interested in it, and I watched the Invicta show that was taking place on that weekend, but I wasn't really interested in checking it out further than that, so I'll just wait for the next free preview weekend.
What card was that? I remember what you're talking about, but I can't remember what UFC card that was.
Actually, it was an Invicta card.
Oh, but it was a free weekend. And Invicta was the only thing on that weekend.
Yeah.
I do follow a lot of Invicta. I just always get those smaller shows mixed up, I guess.
So now we have to see if Ryzen wants to take the risk and gamble on Hiraguchi and Rotari moving on, both moving on, or they're just going to go ahead and try and match them up again. And because they've faced each other before, and it was an amazing fight.
Wait, how long ago was that?
Was it in Pancrase or Shudo?
I believe it was in Shudo, but let me check.
This was pre Horiguchi, like way earlier in his career.
This was before he went to his little UFC stint.
Yeah. I forget how short it was because he got to the top so quickly, and then he was just gone so quickly as well.
No, we remember. I believe it was Hiraguchi that actually said he didn't want a title shot. He wanted a couple more fights before the title shot, and they still rushed him into it.
Because they had no one else to
when it comes down to that first Ishiwatari Horiguchi fight, that was at Vale Tudo Japan the second back
Valley,
on June 22nd, 2013.
Valley Tudo. There you go. No, that
And I
first.
think Horiguchi defeated Ishiwatari via early 5th round TKO.
Yes. So I would like to see them again. So now I'm interested to see if Ryzen tries to match them up again early on in the tournament, or if they take the risk and hope that both of them would advance further on and meet down the road.
Mm-hmm. Now, the next fight, we talked about this. We basically talked about Oliveira defeating Kawajiri, but what are your thoughts about a legend like Kawajiri losing to a virtual unknown in Oliveira?
Well, I started typing out a tweet a couple of times and I deleted it because I didn't feel like it held the relevancy that I was hoping for after I read it. But what I really took out of it is that Kawajiri was disappointing tonight. There was something that he showed in the Cub Swanson fight. He gave Cub a really tough time in the beginning of that
I
fight.
forgot about that. Wow.
And, like, Cub was expecting to go in there and just rock him and beat up a legend, I think. And he gave Cub some stiff competition throughout the first round and part of the second before, Cub eventually turned it up on him and got the decision. I believe he got the decision.
Yeah,
I don't think he did. I don't think he finished him. It was a decision.
Yeah, I think it was a decision.
But I believe that he looked pretty good in that fight, and I was expecting more of that. And then he comes out and just gets starched by a relative unknown, and it really shocked me. But Burchak called it because when he was coming out, he said he had that look in his eyes.
I bet he did.
And you know what that means? You've got that look in your eyes. You're about to get chucked.
And it's not going to be your night either.
Nope. So yeah, I was actually very surprised. Oliveira looked amazing. And like you said, it really showed that he had power in both hands and both feet, because it wasn't but a couple shots that he landed, and Kawajiri's hands were beside his hips, and he was just hoping for that Hail Mary counter.
Yeah, and to be honest, when it comes down to that knee that Oliveira landed on Kawajiri, I mean, my goodness, I've never seen a more devastating knee knockout in my entire time of watching combat sports, and I've been watching it for like 10 years.
I was about to say that's a very bold statement with some of the knees we've seen this year, but just like, I mean, excluding flying knees, I completely agree with what you're saying, because that was disgusting, especially considering how old he is and how he's on the downward side of his career. And just the way, the placement of it, and just the way he fell, it just broke my heart. Like seeing his face kind of crumble,
Very similar to Bader's knockout of Latifi.
Very similar. Yeah, it was almost like he threw that kick, but it landed with the knee.
So, but that was Kawajiri's fault. He didn't set up the takedown. He just tried to shoot right in, and he was far out. And just that's what happens if you're not. MMA has progressed past the point to where you can have sloppy technique. And maybe it's because he wasn't rocked at that point and taking heavy shots. But he dropped his hands and he knew he was shooting, so he ran right face first in that knee.
Yeah, and to be honest, when it comes down to Kawajiri taking an L from a relative unknown like Oliveira, who's now probably going to be taking his spot as the wild card in the Bantamweight Grand Prix, I mean, he shouldn't really feel down. Yeah, but Kawajiri really shouldn't feel down about himself. I mean, the dude's had a legendary career in the UFC, in Pride, in Dream, ONE FC.
I mean, one of the most exciting fighters ever.
The dude's basically a bona fide legend, especially in Japanese MMA, but the dude shouldn't feel down about himself.
He shouldn't feel down at all. I agree with you completely on that. I feel like that he could have retired before his UFC stint. before his
Yep.
latest UFC, he would have been fine. Nobody would have given him any flack. The fans would have understood, would have cheered it on, and he still made it through that stint, and he's still out there today going. And everybody goes through this point in their career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Some legends have to face that downfall in their career where they're not going to get that call anymore. I mean, just look at Bob Sapp, for instance.
but Cheetah knocked Randy's front tooth out and retired him. It was a very similar situation. Except for Cheetah was more established, but every fighter at a certain point, every legend, and even the guys that are like Oliveira, who are young today, if he goes on to have a long, illustrious career, eventually one day he's going to have to pass the torch. We're looking at it right now with Gomi's going through it in the UFC.
Oh God! Don't even get me started on Takanori Gomi. It's a shame that he's having to go through that.
I tuned out for a second, but I heard that name, and the first thing that came to my mind was retire, please.
So it's you're right. Kawajiri shouldn't feel bad at all. It's part of the game.
Yeah, it happens. Father Time, Burchek said it best. Father Time catches up to everybody. So, I mean, it happens to the best of them.
Speaking of time catching up to the best of them, I mean, I understand Crystal Stokes, who is in her mid to late 30s. She made her MMA debut tonight. Or if you're watching this back, it's probably last night. It's probably X amount of days ago. But still, Crystal Stokes made her professional MMA debut after serving 3 tours of duty in the U.S. military. May she be blessed for her service. She was a former bodybuilder and a former women's professional football player. But after the effort she had against King Reina Miura, do you think that she should get another shot at fighting in mixed martial arts in general?
I'll take this one first if you don't mind, because I had some pretty strong thoughts.
Because you and I had, Mikey and I went over this on Twitter, and I think we have a very similar opinion, so I'll let him go for it.
Okay, I think you're kind of delayed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go
ahead.
Okay, so I had some pretty strong feelings on this fight, because honestly, I did not know. I see that you guys know a lot of these cats that I had no idea they were. Some of these kickboxing guys, like I thought I was gonna have a hard time pronouncing their names, and you guys kind of seemed like you had heard of most of them. But really, I was tuning in for Reina, King Reina, Kawajiri, LeBanner. I wanted to see who was going to be the most impressive to fight. End up fighting Horiguchi, and then who else was it? I was interested in the Frank Shamrock and the Frank Robinson, but we don't even. We'll talk about that when the time comes. But I thought that actually she did pretty well for someone. Granted, she had that huge size advantage. She's more like Stefan Struve in the way that she doesn't use her size advantage the way that it should be used. But I was surprised that one, she was able to keep Reina from getting her in that armbar. She did get her in that armbar at the end of the first round, but there wasn't enough time to finish it. But she did get hit tossed a couple times, which is obviously King Reina's big move. But she was able to scramble, and I believe at one point she was even on her back with King Reina like having her neck standing up. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, King Reina.
Yeah.
Reina.
It almost looked like she had that neck just ready to take. And I can't remember if it was that fight or the other fight I was referencing. That it just looked like there was a neck ready to just be taken home with. And I thought she could have had it, but she seemed like her game plan was just like, I want to throw these punches. And she kind of missed her opportunity there in round 2. And then as soon as she got hit with that first leg kick, she did not have a good poker face at all. And that was all she wrote. I think she was like on crutches after that fight. I saw her in a wheelchair or something.
She went to the hospital. Chris Cyborg tweeted that she had gone to the hospital, that she had injured her knee in round 1.
But what were we saying on Twitter before Chris joined us?
Oh, yeah. On the with that fight with Stokes, her ground and pound was terrible, and
Yeah.
that's what really stood out to me.
Oh,
She
that's what it was. She had her back and was
she had
just
her
doing
back
the.
and she had her hooks in, and she was
She couldn't
throwing the
snag that neck.
slowest, softest punches, and then she just let Reina just roll through back in the guard eventually. So she had
That's
her
what it
back,
was.
she had the hooks in, and all she had to do, even on the booth, they even called it to where if she picked up the pace, she probably would have got a TKO stoppage because she was landing
Mm-hmm.
unanswered shots. But
They
she
were
was
not
landing
accurate.
shots like she was taking like 2 seconds between every shot. There was like a hit, then a pause, then a hit, and it's almost like once she got in position, she didn't know what to do with it.
I mean, to be honest, when it comes down to that particular fight, I thought going into the fight that Reina was gonna get a TKO victory. But
Mhm.
of course, with her not really caring all too much about her opponents, as was shown not only prior to the fight during the referee stare down, but at the weigh-in, I think yesterday, she was trying to no wait, Stokes was trying to extend her hand out for a handshake. Reina just walked off and Stokes flipped her off. But I'm guessing that this not caring style of Reina Miura, King Reina Miura, is probably going to be her downfall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially at her size.
Because she's going to run up into an opponent, say Gabby Garcia, which she's
Oh, God
trying to
forbid.
beg and plead. Yeah, she's trying to beg and plead the Ryzen management and general manager Nobuhiko Takada in facing off
Could you
against Gabby
imagine?
Garcia, knowing that
Now I'm a Gabby fan, but that wouldn't be
That's
the way to
criminal.
fight.
uh,
That's
Because-
worse than
But-
Verhoeven and actually maybe not.
Maybe not.
Not as bad as Verhoeven and Bigfoot with all the time he's got knocked out. But she is literally 5'3" and Gabby's like 6'4" or something like that. Like it's disgusting.
There comes a certain
Yeah.
size difference where technique can't close the gap.
Yeah, and it's like
Mhm.
I mean this is a little bit different, but I mean you see what 10 pounds can do when you see what Dominic Cruz is able to do to Mighty Mouse. Dominic Cruz is a much more technical fighter. Not saying Dominic Cruz isn't a technical fighter, but those 10 pounds were what made it able for him to suplex him like it was just nothing, you know. And imagine having 70 pounds on your opponent and over a foot taller and probably like a 10-inch reach advantage. And unless you're John Jones, you're not used to having a 10-inch reach advantage on your opponent.
exactly. That's why I'm saying Reina Miura, King Reina, is gonna bump into an opponent where she's gonna say, "Oh, I don't care. I'm just here to get this paycheck and get out of here,"
Yeah.
knowing that she's gonna probably end up taking an L because of her lack of carefulness.
She needs to fight one of those bigger girls that Gabby lost to, just to like test the waters to see. Like, maybe that we were talking about Jazzy. What was her name? Jazzy who?
Jazzy alpha female Gabby.
Yeah, maybe fight her first to see if you can even deal with someone who doesn't have the jiu-jitsu skills. And I'm not saying that Garcia's striking is good by any means, but at least you would have an idea of how to approach someone that big. I mean, this girl was big, but she wasn't as big as I thought she was going to be. Stokes, whatever her name was.
Yeah, but if you think about it, King Reina fighting Crystal Stokes was nothing more but just, I wouldn't say a walk in the park, but it was an easier task
Yes.
than it would be to face somebody like Gabby Garcia. Because let's look at the history of Gabby's opponents and who would Reina match up against. Gabby defeated Lady Tapa, the Queen of Rings, via TKO. Reina also defeated her. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was.
Defeated Anna Malyukova via arm lock submission. She defeated Destiny Yarborough, I think, via triangle choke. Yeah.
Or no, it was
Yarborough
it might have been an arm triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
She knocked the ever living hell out of Yumiko
The
Hata. Grandma fighter.
Oh god,
The
so
pro
bad.
wrestler who
Oh
should have
man,
just
came to
stayed
the
in the
ring with
square
a
circle.
chain and everything.
Yep. And she went to a no contest against Oksana Gagloeva back on June 30th.
Due to those
So,
illegal shots.
yeah, or stupid eye poke 14 seconds in, but still. Point of the matter. Point of the matter is, if Reina were to face this murderous row of fighters that Gabby Garcia faced, minus Lady Tapa, of course, who, like Jazzy Gabbert, might be in communications or connections with the WWE about getting contracts, but still, if Miura fought Gabby's list of opponents, sans Lady Tapa, I guarantee you she would probably take more L's than wins.
You know,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, no, I
absolutely.
can see that completely.
I mean,
That's
if you think about it,
Can you tell us why? Can you tell us why you think that?
I mean, because if you think about it, you got Malyakova and Gagalova, who are both trained in Sambo.
Yeah.
You got Yarborough, who, even though she's a professional football player, former, like Stokes, she probably would have a better power game, a better ground game than Miura. And even though Yumiko Hata was just a joke, let's be honest. But I'm pretty sure.
it was just a
I'm pretty.
it was a replacement anyway, was she not?
Yeah, she was replacing Shinobu Kandori, but either way, with all the heat
I don't even
that.
remember that fight. How did that one end?
Oh, the Yumiko Hata fight? It was a 41-second beatdown.
Running around the
Was
ring.
she the grandma?
Yes. You gotta see the whole thing, first of all. Yumiko bounced off the ropes like it was.
It's yeah, you have to watch everything
embarrassing.
from the entrance all the way out.
She bounced off the ropes and like, yeah, that one.
Yep, that exact one. But even though
I enjoyed the little like borderline brawl afterwards where they tried to go pro wrestling with it and all their like I think Jazzy Alpha Female jumped in there and like all these people tried to like defend the girl, just the grandma that just got their ass beat. That was pretty funny.
Yep.
It was actually cringy though, but it was funny.
It was like pseudo.
But even though that shoot was cringeworthy, I think either Shinobu Kandori or Yumiko Hata would probably provide the toughest of tests for King Reina Miura. Probably because of the fact that from past promotional videos for past King Reina fights, they were showing King Reina in the wrestler's gym, and she wasn't really getting on into Shinobu and Yumiko's good graces, so to speak.
Yeah. No, I do want one of those teddy bears.
To hell with that. One of those lollipops.
One as well.
You want the
I would
lollipop?
want one of those lollipops that she has.
She's bad. She's bad.
Yeah, but she's
fun. She's a good personality and great character.
She would do really well for wrestling.
But I think what you're saying, like she's gonna hold her attitude's gonna hold herself back.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying if she were to actually care more about these fights going into them, she would probably have way better results than a decision victory against somebody who, even though she was a military veteran, again, may she be blessed for her service. It would have been a lot better if she would have just faced a more experienced opponent, despite the fact that there are weights or women over 150 pounds that would want to take Reina.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. What about Rena? What is her size? Are they about the same size?
Well, as far as height, yeah, they are like 5'3".
But she's smaller.
They're both 5'3", but Reina Kubota is a lot lighter than Reina Miura.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So they're both their names is pronounced Rena. I thought one was Rena, but that's just because I'm American as hell.
Well, Kubota's first name is spelled Rena. Miura's name is the one with the I in the middle of the.
Yeah, the I in it. Yeah. She's the one that comes out with the crown. And
Yep.
Stuff.
Yep.
I like the shtick. I mean,
don't get me wrong. That is a beautiful gimmick that she has.
But you have to be more than
that's what I'm saying. There's not my voice is kind of delayed again, but the one thing that I think that the flyweight division is missing is just that Chael Sonnen character, that guy who's like just willing to say, "F it, I'm gonna be the foil, I'm gonna be the heel," and like someone like that in women's MMA, I think the closest thing we've ever seen besides what Ronda tried to do, I guess, is what Joanna's doing right now. Joanna's obviously doing it better than Ronda did, at least in my opinion, just because. My opinion of Ronda got changed because how her career ended and stuff. But I do appreciate a good stick, especially or a good stick if you can back it up. Like the Chael Sonnen thing, when he almost beat Anderson the first time, that instantly became my favorite fighter. And I obviously saw how that ended up. It kind of builds on Chris's point about if you don't start taking it seriously, you're going to start taking some serious losses down the road.
But Chael was always a suspect fighter anyway.
Yeah, true. He was always a right place, right time kind of guy too.
If you think about it, he was always really good at getting himself in this situation. Now, good, his wrestling was phenomenal, but he was
hello?
But I mean, you look back to his fights before UFC, like he was getting subbed by Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, and he also had to verbally tap Apollo Filio like a. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say. That was
he didn't. He screamed, and the referee took that as a verbal submission.
But it's weird because I've seen guys who scream as well, and they don't stop the fight. Like that rule is kind of weird, but I kind of do agree. Was it a leg lock or an armbar that he was caught in? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, did we lose him?
Oh, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, that submission that Filio caught in Chael, was that like a toe hold or something? I can't remember. It's been so long ago. This is in the WEC.
Well, we're getting off track again anyway.
I'm sorry. It's already 10:45.
Let's just move on. The next fight that happened
here, so let's wrap this. Let's move on.
Let's go ahead and get this quickly out of the way before the football game starts.
Hey, that's what we're talking
about.
Absolutely.
Akio Nishiro defeated Andy Sauer via unanimous decision.
Wow.
Do you guys think that at 2-3 in mixed martial arts, Andy Sauer should have been... I mean, do y'all think that Andy Sauer is good enough to compete in MMA even further than the 5 fights he's been in so far?
No. And it's no disrespect to Sauer. Sauer is a legend, and he's exciting. His technique is amazing. But I think a lot of these guys that have been doing combat sports that have been at the top level for as long as Sauer's been around, they have a hard time accepting that mixed martial arts as an individual sport has grown and surpassed them. You know, is it like it isn't like Pride was 15 years ago when Crow Cop could come over and run shop because he was such a good kickboxer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Sauer's in that position where he has to kind of accept the fact that, or he start thinking about the fact and considering that, you know, he's getting a late start to MMA at this point, and while he's a legend in combat sports outside of mixed martial arts, so it's hard to come over, especially when the new generation is going to be going to have the edge. They're going to be more athletic because they have to be. They're going to be more well-rounded because the resources are there. then and so some of these guys have a jump on him, and his grappling game isn't up there. Now, I'm not saying it's not my business to tell the guy, hey, don't do this, but I'd have a hard time seeing him go far in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see,
Michael, what about you?
I thought he showed at least a couple of moments that impressed me. Obviously, striking is always going to be on point, and he did really well. Actually, it did. I did see some moments where he done better with the striking. But he had a couple of moments, some ground transitions, some takedown defense that actually surprised me. And I mean, I could see him maybe kind of hanging around. At least if they give him guys with similar type rankings. I mean, he's a huge name. I mean, I'm sure they would get if there's still people out there giving Bob Sapp fights. I'm sure somebody can find a use for him. And if he wants to keep fighting, I mean, who are we to tell him he's boxing legend like that? He's got to hang it up. I mean, one loss like that. I mean, whatever. If he wants to do it, he wants to do it. I mean, he's already had a very, very noteworthy career in another sport, and I think he's earned the right to at least give it as many tries as he deems necessary until he starts really taking heads to the blow. But I don't see him taking too many heads to the blow unless somebody really gets him on the ground and just puts nasty ground and pound on him. So I saw potential. I saw a lot of stuff he could work on. Do you guys know how old he is by chance? I feel like that should be something else we should know.
I'm looking it up right now.
To be honest, I don't.
I mean, I don't. He's no spring chicken.
But if you think about this, when it comes down to that Sauer Nishiyori fights, Wiki Akio Nishiyori hasn't had a mixed martial arts fight in about 3 years.
Did not
and he
know
hasn't
that.
had a fight in the Rising Ring for 2. Because he was facing off against the K1 kickboxer in a mixed rules bout that ended in a kickboxing round. The first round, that is.
Oh,
Basically,
I remember
Sauer
that.
had
And they did kickboxing one round, then MMA the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That
but
was so
basically,
weird.
basically, Sauer had every chance in the world to redeem himself off of that one. I mean, basically, Sauer had every chance to redeem himself in that one fight, but the judges didn't like what he saw. The judges didn't like what they saw in him the whole fight, so they awarded the fight to Nishiyori. However,
Sauer's 34,
you guys,
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
34, yeah, see, that's probably right about where I expected.
Yeah, but like I said, and like y'all agreed to, I think maybe they should give him like competition that fits him in the world of mixed martial arts because
And even though he's only 34, he has exactly 200 kickboxing fights.
Goodness gracious, I can't even imagine.
No, excuse me. He has 180. He has 180 kickboxing fights and 4 MMA
What is
fights.
his record? How many losses has he taken?
19. He's only lost by
How many
knockout
by
4
KO?
times though. So
Only 4 knockouts?
losses. Yeah, his record is 160, 19, and 1.
That's amazing. See, now I don't mind someone like that dabbling in MMA if that's what they want to do.
He has 98 knockout wins.
He's
Wow.
you can't get any better than that as a kickboxer. I mean, unless he finds somebody really cool to fight, but kickboxing just doesn't have that allure unless you're Rico Verhoeven, So if he wants to try MMA and he hasn't taken any brain damage yet, I say go for it. Now if you see somebody taking it down and start really putting it on him, worry about him. But for now, I say let him. I enjoyed that fight. I thought it was a great fight.
Buckall's not coming back anytime soon, so.
Mhm.
Did you say Bacall?
Yeah, Buckall's not. Yeah, Buckall.
Is he still fighting?
Yeah, Buakaw for some odd reason is still taking money from Chinese investors.
And just beating the dog crap out of whoever wants it?
Hey
Yup.
guys, I'm still here. I'm just stepping out of the frame for a moment.
Okay, you're good, man.
Okay.
All right, so we were at The last
Yeah, I think
the fight before the fight. I love how the everyone was on Twitter like, oh wow, I can't believe they're only doing 2 intermissions instead of 3 intermissions, and then they put Frank Shamrock and Sakuraba, which was basically an intermission if you ask me.
Oh my goodness.
That
I
was so
mean,
embarrassing to watch. They should have, in my opinion, I thought they should have fixed that fight. Like at least like made it exciting for the fans. Like
they should have made it like a.
You can go ahead.
To, to be honest, I don't even want. I mean, I was not wanting to talk about this fight.
Yeah, I understand.
Really,
I
because
understand.
even I was confused at first. I thought it was going to be like 2 10-minute rounds or something, but that would have been disastrous enough than 1 10-minute time limit.
Absolutely.
Like,
and also, if you listen to the ref, they didn't say this before. They said no joint locks. So basically no leg locks or arm bars. It was just all chokes that they were doing. And it's like they weren't even. I don't even think anybody went to the ground. And I remember the inaugural Rising event. I think Sakuraba fought some young cat in MMA and got his butt kicked. So that was something I was not into. So like.
Oh yeah, I think that was the Shinya Aoki fight.
It's yeah.
Not quite a spring chicken, but I mean, Aoki is still game as ever.
And he's gonna be retiring. Well, actually, he is supposed to be Ben Askren's retirement opponent next month.
They already fought. Askren. Oh wait. No, they didn't. No,
they did not.
I'm thinking of somebody. I'm thinking of Gary Tonin. With Aoki for one.
See, Aoki in MMA is very interesting. Whether or not he gets to wear his outfit or not.
You mean those tights he always wears?
Yeah, those tights.
I can't believe that man beat Eddie Alvarez.
So Alvarez put his.
We were briefly talking about the Shamrock Sakuraba thing. We both agree that we don't really want to talk about it because not only did they like make it to intermission, this fight was basically an intermission to me, and then they made an intermission after that, which made it seem like so long until the fight ended.
No, I agree. I think I even sent out the tweet that was like, "Wait, that wasn't the intermission."
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I was telling our buddy here that I thought they should have fixed the fight, kind of like when Fedor did event with Aoki, and they were both wearing the and I think Aoki had like a flying armbar on him, which is clearly what they were
when they did their grappling thing. And who else is Fedor? Was it Musasi in the Sambo?
Yeah. But that looked like it was fixed too.
Yeah, I think it was at that same.
I don't use the F word in combat sports, but like that's also why I've ignored Bob Sapp when he's come up a couple of times.
Yeah, because he just takes these fat checks from these promoters and taps out as soon as he gets punched in the nose one time.
I'll never say that a fight is fixed. I'll never be the guy to claim a fight is fixed. But that's also, like I said, why I avoid talking about Bob Sapp at this point in his career.
Yeah, I understand.
I just don't want to have to say
Japanese MMA a little differently though.
You know what? The same thing y'all talking about fights and stuff. I mean, I hate to side the track even further, but what about Crazy Horse Charles Bennett?
That man's literally fighting.
Felony Charles Bennett.
Felony Charles Bennett. Either way, the dude has not been the same since he. The dude has not been the same since he TKO'd Wanderlei Silva's prize project. Yeah, Philip Kimura.
Dustin Kimura, I think.
No, it was Philip Minoru Kimura.
Oh yeah, yes. I just completely got that. I need to get some sleep.
Yeah, no.
I understand, but still, though. Ever since he took that fight against Philip,
and he knocked him out in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. He's been taking a lot of losses on the international scene and one loss in Ohio.
Yeah, he lost like a week ago,
didn't he? Ex-UFC guy here recently.
Yeah, he lost to
Cody
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 Fister.
the guy that saved me.
Yeah, and
Which is crazy.
he literally posted on his Facebook like, I need a fight within the next 2 weeks or else I'm not gonna be able to pay my rent. And he got that fight on short notice. I think he got choked out in the second round, which basically makes he just showed up to get a paycheck, you know.
And the thing is, he's the type of person that I always felt like if he had been surrounded by the right people, he would have gone far.
Yeah, but he also seems like the type of person that has serious mental problems. I know a lot of fighters do, but
Yeah, that's
I've heard
why
some
you need
interviews
good
with
people in
him.
your
I've heard
corner,
him
and you
on
need a
Chael
great
Sonnen's
team. I feel like
podcast
if he'd
before.
been surrounded by right team, there's a few other fighters I don't want to put names out there, but I think that are at like large gyms and have great support teams, so they turned out better than they could have.
Yeah.
And I mean, was it KJ Noons that Bennett had that fight with? And
No, it wasn't KJ Noons.
But I know who you're talking about. Was
you
it
know
in
what fight I'm
Strike
talking
Force?
about? It was like Strike Force or Elite XC back in the day. One
It
of
might
those.
have been Elite XC. Hold on, I'm gonna look up his record because it's pretty salty, and I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah, the Bennett. That's the guy who could have had a really great career, in my opinion, had he been surrounded by the right people and been on the better path. But I mean, he came up at a time period where it was chaos. I mean, he's probably most known, unfortunately, just for a backstage brawl with
Oh God, his
Vanderlei.
record is so bad.
Uh,
I'm on his Wikipedia. I wonder if somebody put that him getting choked out by that Marcelo guy, that was Vanderlei's boy, in that story where he supposedly got up and knocked Vanderlei out cold before he fought up Ricardo Arona. Y'all heard that story before, right?
I've seen.
yeah, I
Yes,
think it was at Pride
seen-
Shockwave 2003,
Yeah,
which was the same card where Bennett
they dropped
defeats some
the full.
Japanese actor.
Somebody was at
Yeah,
Rampage
and then
dropped the full video finally about a year or two ago.
No, they never
Yep.
did. They cut it to where right after he gets unconscious and Vanderlei's playing with his feet, and Crazy Horse is starting to wake up. That's the last thing you see. But the story is, and I've heard from multiple people, or not directly obviously, but I have heard multiple people claim that it is true that it happened. Like people that were not Brazilian that would automatically be on Vanderlei's side, like people that were just happened to be there and see it. And so his theory is that they cut the video because Vanderlei was their golden boy, and also he was about to go out there and fight that night. He had just gotten knocked unconscious allegedly. But yeah, to getting over that.
What video am I thinking about? Is it the Vanderlei and Crazy Horse, or is it the aftermath of Shogun and Coleman, where they're all backstage
Oh,
and they're
that
separated,
one was
and like
bad.
they're
That
all
was
like
when
lined up
Coleman
and it's like
jumped
shootbox versus like Hammer House, and they're yelling at each
Yeah,
other.
it was because Mark Coleman slammed Shogun and he separated his shoulder, and then Vanderlei and who's
Russ
Shogun's
Ring.
brother Ninja tried to jump Coleman, and that video, if you find it on YouTube, is actually funny.
And then they go backstage and they
Coleman's
got
dad
like
was there.
they're about to do like the 3 versus 3 backstage.
Oh, dude, this is so bad.
All right, so where were we at?
I can't even find a point in Crazy Horse's career where he was like not like he's had like 6 losses in a row, like 4 or 5 times, or 3 or 4
Oh
times.
my goodness.
He's on a 6-fight losing streak right now. His record is 30 and
30 and
36
36 and 2.
His last fight was that win over Kimura. And then before then, his last fight that against anybody even relevant that I know of is Luis Palomino. He got knocked out in 4 minutes. And he's just fighting a bunch of nobodies. He lost to Bobby Green. He got knocked out in the first round. KJ Noons, he actually KO'd KJ Noons. In the first
KJ
round.
Noons was the crazy KO that he had. That he did the
That's
flip
what
off
it
the
was.
cage.
Yeah. He got knee barred by Kawajiri.
See, but he was fighting top level competition.
Oh, he fought Uriah Faber too early in his career as well.
And I think he fought a deep champion in Pride though. Don Jonosuke Mishima.
Mishima, yeah, he got submitted by an ankle lock in the first round. And every single fight that he lost in the first round. Like he has, let's see.
He's definitely a paycheck fighter.
So he has 18 wins by knockouts. He only has been knocked out twice, but he's been submitted 21 times, and almost all of them are in the first round.
How is he even able to walk anymore, let alone do some of the stupid stuff that he's been doing?
Yeah, he's had like, I see at least 6 or 7 heel hooks on here and a bunch of chokes, but if you get heel hooks more than like once or twice, like, and you're not like training jiu-jitsu, you know how to get out of that and tap in time, like you can really have your legs fucked up for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Was he?
But
Which
he's
I'm
crazy, man. He
surprised.
spent time in jail, and I don't know if he came out the same person because of that.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he didn't come out the same person after multiple jail
He might
stints.
not have even been the same person to start off with.
Exactly. But let's get off of crazy. What am I saying? Let's get off of felony Charles Bennett and get to the co-main event and main event
We're
of this
almost there,
rising
guys. We're
card.
almost there.
Speaking of the co-main event, Tenshin Teppen Nasukawa, the 19-year-old Phenom, defeated amateur boxer Yamato Fujita via unanimous decision. Even though Nasukawa, previous to this win, had 3 stoppage victories, the first 2 of which occurred in a time span of 48 hours last year.
Oh.
Do you guys think that Tenshin Nasukawa is the future of mixed martial arts?
Now, I actually think Fujita going into this fight, and yeah, I know.
Where? So I hadn't heard of these 2 guys beforehand. Where are they fighting out of? Is one of them in bank race or something?
Nope, Nasukawa is a homegrown product for Ryzen.
Yep.
Fujita slated to be a professional boxer.
He's 3-0. All 3 of his fights have been in Ryzen.
Mm-hmm. The first two occurred within the span of 48 hours. Last New Year's Eve weekend.
Okay. I do remember.
You would, something has nothing to do with him personally, but when you measure a tornado like F5, it's actually the Fujita scale.
Right.
That's what the F stands for, and for tornado is Fujita. Nothing to do with him though, just random pointless knowledge.
But
Good Lord,
to be honest,
are these guys 125 pounds?
Yep. But to
Yeah.
be honest,
Fujita has
Nasukawa's
a frame on him. Like his legs are look like tree trunks, man.
What were you saying, Chris, about Nasukawa?
But if you think about it, Nasukawa has been destroying his opponents so far like he's an F5 tornado.
Yes.
And if you think about it, I think that Tenshin has the capabilities, the skills, the overall testicular fortitude to go on and, become something in mixed martial arts. I mean, he's only 19. His best years haven't even started yet.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here looking at his record, and this was his first fight that he didn't win by finish, and he still looked absolutely amazing. So,
and
he
had that awesome front push kick
yes,
in this fight that looked like he was just looked like he just pushed for just knocked him over with it, like full momentum. It's going to be like a gift forever.
I've been in the gym before and gotten kicked like that, and it literally, it's like stab. It feels like you're getting stabbed. Like the wind just literally just gets all knocked out of you, and it's like you lock up for a second, like that. If you get it right on that sweet spot, which looked like to me he did. That's why. Not to digress again, but like Connor did against Chad Mendez, and Joe Rogan pointed out something like a stabbing front kick almost. That's a very effective technique when it comes to keeping your range, especially when you're
railroaded with it. Vegeta rushed in and just got smashed with it.
Yeah, especially if you rush into it. I can't even imagine like that.
I thought it was a really good fight though.
Still, though, when you think about it, Nasukawa probably has all those skills obtained by his kickboxing career. We haven't seen him. I mean, yeah, sure, we have seen him win via submission, but the dude is more known for his knockout power, and I think that as time moves on, we're gonna probably see more knockouts come from this young man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think even tonight, I guess this was a step up in competition for him to an extent. But as long as they don't throw him to the wolves immediately, I mean, if you keep, like we said about Pico, if you just keep let him get a couple more knockouts before you give him like the Horiguchi or like perhaps an Ian McCall if he comes over, and then like let's say Ian McCall does go to Ryzen, they can use one of these young Japanese cats to build his name off of a potential win over Ian McCall, assuming he can actually make it through all his medical stuff and everything. But I think that would be a really good opportunity for a guy like this to actually take it to that next level and be a guy that could maybe, challenge DJ if he does ever decide to go to the UFC. Because it's all you're gonna have to be very mentally strong to beat DJ on top of having all the skills in the world. And if you can get a win over a guy like Ian McCall, I think that's a very, very good start, especially a Japanese guy who hasn't really fought anybody with the caliber or the experience of Ian McCall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think if Ian McCall comes over to Ryzen, if he doesn't become stupid enough to take Russian blood money, I'm pretty sure that Ian McCall, the first guy he's going to want to call out is Tenshin Nasukawa, but he's probably going to tell him, hey, kid, unless you got a record like mine, unless you got experience like me, I'm going to need you to stand at the back of the line.
Well, hey, let me say this. You guys listen to the MMA Hour?
I've only listened to one episode, but I never listened to it religiously.
Okay, well let me lay this on you, and this is I actually honestly I would have assumed the same thing that you just said. But he was on this week. Announcing that he had requested his attendance grant his release, and he even said while they're doing this tournament and figuring out who's going to fight who and whatever, he goes, "I'll fight one of these young cats just so I can get a paycheck, and then let me get a shot or Gucci when he wins the title or the Grand Prix or something like that." So is the guy we were talking about? Is he going to Gucci as well?
Well, actually, when it comes down to Nasukawa, up until this recent Grand Prix for Horiguchi, yeah.
Okay.
See, I think
McCall
had problems with him. Think about it. McCall has been through his share of injuries over the years. He actually really hasn't fought in a long time.
Yeah, for like his last 6 or 7 fights, either he's pulled out or his opponent has pulled out.
And
yeah, basically he's had a long suffering bout against Tiramisu.
Yeah. Something like that.
That and he breaks more hands than Cub Swanson.
Well, yeah, he actually can't even make a fist anymore with his right hand. He said he has to be when he comes back, if he ever fights again, he's going to be a southpaw because he can't even make a full fist with his right hand.
So he can't even punch with his right hand, basically.
Here, are you looking at the screen right now? Here, he was on Rogan. He was on Rogan, and he was like, "This is as like far as he could go." It was like this. It was tough. It was tough.
That's how Cub was. Remember, Cub almost retired summer before last because he kept breaking his hand and he couldn't make a fist until he had that surgery to get it corrected properly.
Well, I'm glad he did because I enjoyed that match with PC Painted against Artem Lobov.
I mean, he broke his hand against Lobov.
Yeah, but Lobov actually gave him a better fight than I was thinking. But hey, we're almost done, so let's get to the last fight. We've been at this for a while.
Yes, the Reina victory over Andy Nguyen, which moves Reina up to 5-0, defeating Nguyen, who is now 5-5 via TKO body blow, 3 minutes 23 seconds of round 1.
Ooh, what a body shot!
Now Reina did say that Actually, I think it was Kana Asakura who said there was going to be an all Japan women's atomweight Grand Prix final. Do you think that a fight between Kana Asakura and Reina Kubota would be worth your money if these two were to compete in the finals?
I'll let you take that one first.
Me? Oh yeah, I think it would be. I'm I'm a fan though, so I get excited for everything. I get excited for the dumbest fights, like even the stuff I shouldn't get excited, like mismatches. I get it. I get excited for everything. No, it would, but I do think it would be worth it, and I think it would be really interesting to see it out being an all Japan female tournament, like the way it's played out. Japanese MMA, especially women's MMA in Japan, actually could benefit huge from this, from having this, no outsiders, so to speak, for lack of a better term, coming over and running shop like they used to do back in the day. Like, think about it, Pride had a great stable of fighters, but a lot of them were American fighters. A handful of them were American fighters, not a lot, but a handful of American fighters that came over and did great over there. And I think it'd be great for women's MMA in Japan to have a fight like that as the finals. Andy Wynn kind of set herself up for the fall. She came in, missed weight initially, and so what are you gonna do when your opponent misses weight? You're gonna work the body. I don't believe that she's as.
She missed weight by a half a pound, which is a kilogram.
Okay. Then she. But I feel like a lot of Wynn's hype is based on her personality.
Because she's the American, right? That trains at KGB, Angela Lee.
Yeah, she's the what's her nickname?
The Crazian, CRASIAN.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes, the crazy Asian.
Yeah, the crazy Asian. She's the American-born Asian.
Actually, I like that. I like that. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty cool.
From Hollywood to South Carolina.
I didn't realize she was 5-4 going into this fight because she was training with KGB, and I know how much of a beast that girl is. So I figured that she would be a little bit better. But like you said, when you miss weight like that, and then you have a hard time making weight in general, and your opponent knows that, you better recover those body shots. And that girl, Reina, or whatever her name, she can throw. You can throw those hands, and she has vicious intentions when she does it. And if you give her the space to land those shots, it's not going to be pretty for you. If it's not your chin, it's going to be your body.
And kind of think of it, that was probably the reason why Reina handled the win. Because of all those body shots that she learned doing shoot boxing and kickboxing. I mean, it was because of that whole shoot boxing, kickboxing experience that Reina has been basically dominating her opponent so far, all the way up from Jelena Valentino to now. And that Jelena Valentino fight on New Year's Eve 2015, that fight ending armbar that she had against Valentino, which was a flying armbar, was probably one of the most picturesque submissions in women's MMA history.
That was the first time I'd ever seen her fight. And
it was probably the first time
Versus name after that.
It was probably the first time a lot of people have seen her fight, but I'm pretty sure that, especially now, people are noticing more about Reina Kubota.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I mean, once I saw it, I mean, every time I see her, because when those rising cards, when they come out, they all come out, the fights all generally come out at once. And so every time I see one with her on it, she's almost been on all of them for the most part, as far as I can remember. I think I've only missed maybe one rising event, but it gets tough with my work schedule and stuff. But generally, if I'm like, if there's a fight, if there's a UFC, a Bellator, or another high level type of combat sports, I'm requesting off at least 6 months in advance, or as soon as they start announcing them, because this is like my ultimate goal, kind of like doing this type of thing, like where you react initially right after the event is over, before you listen to other people's opinion of it, because I feel like you get a better accurate reflection of how you personally feel about what you saw. You just do it immediately without listening to somebody else, and it's also good to have other people who are knowledgeable bounce ideas off of. So I really appreciate this, guys. And I appreciate you guys hitting me up on Twitter and doing this. It's been a really great time, man.
Yeah, I agree. Likewise.
Hey, thanks for having me. We'll talk to you on social media, Mikey. It was great being on here.
Yeah, man. Let's all link up.
Let's sit down and try and do some more, and we can be more prepared and like less.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that we figured out how it works and stuff, I say like we can just think of some stuff. I don't think the next really big card is 217, but I mean, for I think Musashi, Flamenco, and for Bellator in a couple weeks.
And if you guys get some time
for Cowboy and Terrence Hill, but maybe we could do like a pre-fight or a post-fight show or something.
Yeah.
And if somebody's really creative, just come up with a cool name and we can start doing the damn thing.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. I mean, I don't know if I'd be more willing.
I thought I knew a lot about MMA, but you guys sound really, really knowledgeable too, and I enjoyed just kind of
yeah. But
yeah,
like I said, I was trying to say I wouldn't be more willing to do.
It's really nice to have somebody that knows as much about JMMA as you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude. No, I've never met anybody that knows nearly anything close to as much about Japanese MMA.
Well, I would. What am I trying to say? I know what I can when it comes down to JMMA. I probably wouldn't know much about a Bellator fight card because I don't see much Bellator.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
where did you say you live?
I live
in America.
Me?
Yeah.
Where do I live?
Yeah.
I live in the Houston, Texas area.
Oh, okay.
But as far as me, I know as much. I mean, I know a little bit about. What am I trying to say? I keep screwing up on my words.
Oh, you're good, man. I'm over here making a fool of myself too. It's
still, dude.
11:19.
I try to know as much as I can about JMMA as possible. I probably wouldn't know much about a Bellator card because I don't have Spike TV, so I wouldn't watch them all that much.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
The only thing that's really cool about the one coming up is the fact that it's Flamenco, who's the former 185-pound champ, who actually lost going up in weight trying to fight Tito Ortiz like an idiot. He also hit a spinning back fist that knocked Melvin Manhoef out cold. But he's fighting Gegard Mousasi for his first fight in Bellator. I'm interested to see how that goes. So I don't know if you'll be up for that to do like a pre or post fight show, Fraymous. But I'd be down.
Oh, definitely. I'm always down, even if it's not an event.
There he is.
If you guys just want to get together sometime and just throw like a podcast episode together or something like that for one of our shows or channels or something,
yeah, dude.
I'm down for that as well. It's great to have some guys to talk to about stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I see you guys have a lot of followers too, so we all can build off of each other.
And at least we just got the first initial test run out of the way, winging it like this. That'd actually been kind of fun.
Are we still live right now?
Yeah.
I'm assuming so. Because
I guess we can all. I guess we can all close out now. I mean, if y'all want to follow me,
go for it.
I mean, I'm on Twitter at ChrisGary92. Y'all can follow me there or subscribe to one of my 3 YouTube channels.
What are the YouTube channels?
The one that I'm calling you out of, that is my secondary YouTube channel, youtube.com/JerryCG92. My main channel is youtube.com/ChrisGary92, and my blogs and impressions site, my blogs and impressions YouTube channel is youtube.com/CG92blimp.
Oh, I appreciate some good impressions. I'll have to check that one out, my friend.
Awesome. I'll try to post this. I mean, I never try. I mean, I haven't really done anything with the channel as far as impressions go. I only got one impression of Morgan Freeman on there talking about Brian Scalabrini's announcement, but it was so bad that people just panned it. But I'll probably try and do more impressions like within the next year if I get a chance to.
All right.
Definitely, definitely. You can
And
catch me at Twitter. It's at Mikey J Thompson, MIKEYJ Thompson. I'm on Facebook, MikeyTMMA podcast. My YouTube channel. I don't actually know what the backslash is, but I know that if you type in Mikey T MMA, I'm the only person that comes up. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that. I also have a podcast hosting website that I use on Podomatic.com, but I haven't used that since about UFC 205. So until I get a new computer and a better mic, I'm probably going to lay low off of that and just do the video for now. But yeah, for any of the maybe 5 to 10 people that end up watching this, I promise you guys are going to get better. Next time, hopefully, we won't be running off of no sleep. I'm going to get some coffee in my system and try to get through this day. But I don't want to thank all the listeners and thank to these two guys for being gracious companions. Honestly, in case y'all couldn't tell, this is like literally the first time that any of the three of us have interacted, and I think it went pretty well. It's always good to talk to some people who have some similar interests, especially when it's about this sport that I'm so obsessed with. So thank you guys.
yeah, you're
Hey,
welcome.
you're welcome.
And
And
I've
if
had a
we
great
get the
time.
chance to do
You
it,
guys can follow me at Fraymous, Fraymous. That's universal for
mm-hmm.
Twitter, Twitch. I also do video games and talk about MMA. So, and I
What
do
kind of games you play, bro?
uh PC games, so like PUBG,
You don't have
Overwatch.
an Xbox or a PlayStation?
No, my console. My house got broken into a while back, and I
Oh
solely
man,
got all my consoles.
Dude, that
tough,
sucks.
tough, tough.
Yeah, so I built a PC instead.
Were you before that? Were you team PlayStation or team Xbox?
I was both. I was
Ah, you were really into the game, then.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
a
I can
nerd.
see.
I'm a nerd. I mean, I'm a nerd to the point where I got part of my how I got so big into MMA is I was crawling old message boards, EWB. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what used to be like DVD which was like a pro wrestling forum that had MMA on it.
Mm-mm.
I
Um,
don't really
so,
remember that.
I
uh,
don't either.
so I was like scrolling like the niche message boards back when like mixedmartialarts.com was just the underground when it was just the
Yeah. It was like forums and stuff.
yeah back when it was just the forums message boards and nothing else basically. So
It was it was like Reddit MMA, but before Reddit MMA.
yeah. Um, so you can follow me. Everything is universal, Framus, and I had a great time. Thanks you guys for coming in here. Like Mikey said, this really was the first time we've all interacted outside of liking each other's tweets on Twitter. So I think it went pretty well
Mm-hmm.
for the first time and winging it. And I hope we do this again soon. But I am running. I've been up for 24 hours and
Let's get.
in 10 minutes. So
I'm proud of you, man. You have done your thing. The
thank you.
girlfriend's gone to work. It's time for you to get to sleep. I think I'm gonna go with my mother to allow her to buy me some new clothes. So I think I'm gonna enjoy that while I have that opportunity before
Yeah,
she changes her mind. So I'll catch you guys later.
enjoy
Hit
that.
me up on. You guys have my email address. You guys have my Twitter. But it was good chatting, guys, and I
All
really
right,
appreciate the time.
later. And
Hey, we appreciate it tenfold. And anytime y'all need me to talk about some UFC or some JMMA, I'm always down.
Bet.
all
So
right,
you don't watch Bellator
you're
or
my
UFC,
official
but you're down with
JMMA
like
guy.
the UFC fight nights and FS1 stuff.
I probably wouldn't be much help on Bellator because I don't really follow it because I don't really check it out. But as
And you
far
don't eat
as
spikes, so I understand. Yeah.
UFC and sure,
Yep,
I wouldn't mind checking
But
out.
what I'm saying
I
is
mean,
you have like FS1 and Fox and stuff.
yeah,
So
maybe some boxing, maybe some kickboxing too. I'd be willing to.
I do
check
a lot of
y'all out on
boxing.
that.
I do a lot of boxing stuff. So yeah, I feel you. But yeah, like if you're like ever like catching a pay per view or catching like a FS1 MMA card or FS1
you
UFC or
guys,
FX UFC or I think they even have FXX now. Which hallelujah, somehow I have that channel. I don't know how, but I do. But yeah,
if you guys can help,
I'm hitting every single UFC, Bellator. Ryzen, I mean, just the big ones usually. I like Glory too, and I like big boxing matches. So anytime, you just get at me, all right?
I'm like Thomas said to Ariel the other day. I like violence.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about on the MMA beat?
Yeah, I like
Yeah, yeah.
violence.
And
So
Ariel's
I,
like, I don't want to use that word, and I'm
so
like,
like
well,
if it's combat sports, I'm there, and you guys can help me get back into boxing. I took a break from boxing. They always say if you don't like it, don't watch. So after the first
Mhm.
Bradley Pacquiao, I
oh
didn't
yeah,
watch.
and then it happened again with Canelo.
I didn't watch a single boxing bout until the Conor Mayweather
And
fight.
Floyd, yeah. Well,
Of
I
course,
got really excited because, like, honestly, I'm a huge Connor dick rider. Like, you can see, like, my whole I have like a shrine over here by him.
I'm
But
sorry, bro.
I thought that he was gonna do a little bit better. Like, I didn't think he was gonna win, but I thought he was gonna land like that uppercut that he hit. I thought he was gonna at least like stun him a couple times, maybe. But he was landing a bunch of pity patty shots that wasn't anything. But that what happened was that ended up getting me more excited for Canelo and Triple G, and the
I think
judges absolutely ruined that. Like
I
I
just
would
want
have,
him to box Paulie because I love Paulie and I always have.
you know what I would love to see is Paulie fight Connor in MMA and get armbarred in under a minute.
No, I want to see Paulie. I want to see Paulie box him.
Yeah, but I actually honestly think that Paulie might have gotten the better of him in the sparring, and they just released that footage the way they did because that was clearly a really good moment in it. But
Paulie
hey,
got a
I'm
paycheck
about
to
to get
sell
out
it
of
by.
here. It's 11:30
Yeah,
where I'm
well,
at. Do you know if you have to end it from your end, or do I just click X?
guys could probably just click X, and I'm gonna turn my computer. I'm just gonna hit the power button on my computer, and that'll probably turn everything off.
Okay,
Because,
it'll just end the stream from YouTube and whatnot.
yeah, it'll just disconnect everything once
Okay,
we all
I think
disconnect.
he's out.
Chris, you already gone?
Yeah, I think he's gone.
All
All right,
right,
I'm about to get out of here, man. I'll get up with you later, man.
all right, later, bro.
All right, peace.